All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live for our second of 3 streams today, back to back, quite literally on the channel. No gap time between. We just wrapped up our stream of the qualifying session for the NASCAR Cup Series at Circuit of the Americas, and now it's time for the Craftsman Truck Series turn to go racing in Florida versus the Cup and O'Reilly Series in Texas. Florida, why, you might ask? How about St. Petersburg? First time ever we're going to see a NASCAR sanctioned race on the streets of St. Pete. A doubleheader weekend with the Craftsman Truck Series and the IndyCar Series, which will be racing tomorrow afternoon. We're going to see a couple of former IndyCar champions in this race, and we're going to be seeing a lot of fun, I think, throughout the next couple of hours. Triple header today. We're going to be live as well for the O'Reilly race. After this is over, we're going to have a little bit of a gap time between those two races, maybe a half hour to an hour at the most, and that's going to be about it. But thanks for all of you tuning in here, and hopefully you enjoy today's coverage. Many of you I just saw during the live stream we just finished up of qualifying for COTA. Congratulations again to Tyler Reddick on the pole for tomorrow's race. What a start to the season. DC Long, Bam Hall, Billy Kramer, Bond 1771. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Gonna go Truck Series racing, the streets of St. Pete. Excited for it. Not sure how much of this is going to be like a cautiously optimistic, but could get ugly. We've never seen the Truck Series on a street course in general. Michael Lewis, thanks for tuning in. 15 likes on the stream already. Our goal will be to get to 100 likes for today's race, perhaps. Big Fox, local Fox for the truck race today. Not many of those this season on your local Fox affiliate, but today's is. It'll be your local Fox affiliate for tomorrow's Cup event as well. Dean Tate, welcome in. Got to put a chat poll up. Of course, I didn't get a chance in the pre-race to ask you guys who you think is going to win. Who will win the Truck Series St. Petersburg? I think we'll put our Dario Franchitti, James Hinchcliffe, trying to check the Truck Series out here. Let's see. So I can exit out of that. I mean, is Gio Ruggiero the third favorite for this race? Like, I don't have the starting order on my phone at the moment. I mean, I'll go with him. I'll go Gio Ruggiero. Gio Ruggiero. Other. All right, there we go. Voting polls open, and that will be open until the end of stage 2. Per usual. Got a Connor Mosack vote from Steve. Yeah, Mosack being on the poll is going to be interesting. They have an interview with James Hinchcliffe going on right now. I missed it at the very start. Trying to get everything set up. I had to swap chats out on my phone from one to the other. Carnage and Long Yellow sessions. Yeah, we might be running right into the next stream as well.
When your knees are that high against the wheel.
Oh, you hope a lot because there's not a lot you can do, and it makes it very uncomfortable when there's 14 turns. You know, it's bad enough on an oval.
Well, it's time now for the most famous words in racing. Let's go trackside once again and hear it from St. Pete.
Race side fans, it's time for the most famous words in motorsports. Here to give the command for the inaugural Only Bulls Green Flag 150 at St. Petersburg, please welcome the founder of Only Bulls, Todd Alt.
Good luck and Godspeed to the troops in the Middle East. Drivers, start your engines!
All right, there's the command. Engines firing on all cylinders, and we are going to get racing here shortly for the first time of 3 this weekend. All 3 series in action for the first 3 weeks of the NASCAR season between Daytona, Atlanta, and now this weekend. A standalone event for trucks in St. Petersburg, while O'Reilly and Cup action will take place at COTA. Yeah, let's go street race trucking. Street truck racing, maybe? Street trucking just sounds... It sounds illegal. The sounds of it. Interesting stuff. Surprise SVG starting 13th. Yeah, not a great qualifying effort for either him or Zilich. Both going to be starting outside of the top 10. It's going to make for an interesting race tomorrow, seeing those guys start mid-pack. Not usual. While they're on the front row in the O'Reilly race. Yes, this is a legal street race. Very illegal. Might have to go into a NASCAR.com different web page. Obviously, with qualifying just wrapping up, I believe it's just going to be a little slow. Stall alignment. Maybe on the entry list. I want to pull the starting lineup on screen, but I don't have anything at the moment. Let's go schedule, truck series. Click on Grand Prix of St. Petersburg. I like how it takes us to IndyCar's website. It's like what, NASCAR.com. They can be something else sometimes. Jimmy Johnson down in St. Pete. I think he's going to be helping Dario Franchitti out here today. Watching news, listening to me. Busy entertaining your son's dog, yeah. Well, have fun with that. I don't even know who to pick for the race win today, honestly. I mean, Hinchcliffe looked really good. It's just we usually don't see debut winners from outside motorsports in the truck series. And this thing can get very wild. I'm almost certain of it today. I really don't know. I mean, based off of practice and qualifying, I'd almost like to think, you know, maybe Gio Ruggiero of the truck regulars is the favorite, but he's never won on a non-super speedway. Chandler Smith starting up in 5th. I honestly thought that Lane Riggs would have a better effort here because he was the only guy remotely competitive to Corey Heim on the road courses last year. Heim's not in this race. Otherwise, I would take him. Caden Honeycutt was fastest in practice by quite a wide margin. And obviously, that was the truck that Corey Heim was in most of last year. Caden Honeycutt going to win his first race on a street course, maybe? That'd be something. All right, so I'm just going to have to rate it off my phone because I don't have the starting lineup on screen for you all right now. With the trucks on track, starting lineup for today's race after qualifying was washed out yesterday has Connor Mosack on the pole. Gio Ruggiero going to be starting in 2nd. And that makes up row 1. Row 2 is going to be James Hinchcliffe coming over from the IndyCar world alongside Ben Rhodes, a 2-time truck champ. Chandler Smith with Dario Franchitti in row number 3. Franchitti's returned to NASCAR, long hiatus there, and obviously a multi-time champion of both the Indianapolis 500 and the IndyCar series as a whole. Wesley Slip and Landon Lewis will line up in row 4. Row 5 is going to be Jake Garcia and Adam Andretti rounding out the top 10. Andretti made his debut at Atlanta in the trucks last weekend. Justin Haley, Daniel Dye for the Dodge Ram Group will be in row 6. Tyler Ankrum, Andres Perez in row 7. Brennan Queen, Colin Braun, 2 more Rams in row 8. Row 9, Stuart Friesen and Tyler Wright. Row 10 will be Caden Honeycutt, Chris Wright. Minnie Tyrell, Ty Majeski in row 11. Row 12, Frankie Muniz, Jackson Lee. Grant Enfinger and Carter Fadich in row 13. Row 14 for Nathan Nicholson and Lane Riggs. Tanner Gray with Cole Butcher in row 15. Row 16, Christian Eckes, Derek White. Dawson Sutton, Daniel Hemrick, row 17. Ben Mayer and Timmy Hill in row 18. And Mayer was actually 2nd fastest in practice, so he is going to be somebody to look out for, even starting back in the last row. Dirty Reg 22, thanks for tuning in, saying that Christian Eckes is going to get the win. Again, you can vote for who you think is going to win in our chat poll. Pre-race favorites right now, 23% of you say it's going to be somebody other than Franchitti, Hinchcliffe, or Ruggiero. We shall see. Connor Mosack put up a pretty good fight on the road courses last year in the trucks, had some top 5 runs, so getting that track position on pole to start going to be good for him. Spire Motorsports off to a pretty good season and a great run last week with both Carson Hocevar and Kyle Busch finishing 1-2 at Atlanta is the reason why they're starting up towards the front, based off the metric system with qualifying getting rained out. Clear skies today, though, for the race, as well as at COTA, both today and tomorrow for O'Reilly and Cup action. Austin Fuller, thanks for tuning in. Pick James. Yeah, I want to make my pick before they go green. I haven't solidified it yet. I don't trust outsiders in their debut winning this. SVG is an anomaly in the Cup Series because that just doesn't happen. And Connor Zilic, I guess, technically in O'Reilly action, but he didn't win in his truck debut at COTA, despite qualifying on the pole for that one. I don't know. Caden Honeycutt was really good in practice. There's a wide margin, too. Give me Caden. I'm going to go Caden Honeycutt, Rogero's teammate. I think Caden Honeycutt gets his first career win today. I mean, it's a stretch, I feel like, no matter who I would have taken. I like Lane Riggs, but not with the track position. Because you got to figure, though, too, even starting mid-pack, this is a street course. It's hard enough to gain that much track position on a road course, but tighter confines of the street course, you're going to have less passing opportunities, and that makes it even more difficult than what it's already looking. Our stage splits today will be 20 laps in both Stage 1 and Stage 2. Final stage will be 40 laps, making up our full length of 80 laps, 144 miles. Live raw feed is now up and running on NASCAR.com for the truck race. Ambient temperature 72 degrees in the Sunshine State. Wind is well down from what it was in Daytona a couple weeks ago across the state. Only 3 miles per hour here today. Got a stalled out truck on the racetrack of Tyler Reif in the 42 for Nice Motorsports, and because of that, I don't think we're going to be able to go green this time by. The lights are out on the pace car. Push truck to the back of Reif, going to try to get him refired. Local Fox affiliate is where you can watch today's action of the Truck Series on the streets of St. Petersburg. So again, 20, 20, and 40 are the stage splits for this 80-lap event. Got more laps in the truck race today than what we do the O'Reilly race at COTA. Interesting. Austin Sullivan, welcome back. Have a feeling this race is going to be a crash fest. Yeah, definitely doesn't feel the greatest. Does it? All right. So added an extra pace lap. There are certain sections of this racetrack that are jam-packed, which is great to see for a Truck Series race. Regulars that come to St. Petersburg every year for this IndyCar opener, maybe some of them have never seen a NASCAR race. They're coming to you this weekend. Restarts are going to get kind of nutty later in the race. I think everybody's going to be relatively tentative right now. There hasn't been a lot of side-by-side action because in practice they'd like to get their space, learn the racetrack. A lot of these drivers and teams having to learn this racetrack on the fly. And that's where the likelihood of a James Hinchcliffe or a Dario Franchitti winning today likens quite a bit. Beautiful scenes at this racetrack. I have never watched an IndyCar race at St. Petersburg. So learning this course on the fly, going to be kind of a challenge for myself when it comes to the live commentary side of things, but I will do my best. Terry Lewis, thanks for tuning in as well. Yep, green flag is out. Here we go. We're underway and racing. Connor Mosack off the pole start. Going to get the launch. Very wide main and front straightaway here in St. Petersburg. That's where the biggest advantage for a passing opportunity down into turns 1 and 2. Couple trucks 3 wide in the back of the pack. Of course, remember, quite a few having to start towards the back after poor finish at Atlanta and Daytona to start the season. With the drafting ovals and qualifying getting rained out. Not making their life easy here this afternoon, let alone the fact it's a new circuit. New, of course, to NASCAR. With many street courses, going to be some tight confines, but it does widen out quite a bit up onto that main straightaway. Which allows for double file restarts to be more plausible. Kind of build that space versus a straight course at Chicago we've seen in NASCAR the last couple of years. Not as much spacing down into turn 1. Saw some incidents there. Nobody got spun around on the opening lap of this race, as most of the field runs single file, obviously now. Couple passes still in the back of the pack ongoing. Connor Mosack already getting out to about a 4 to 5 truck length lead over Gio Ruggiero in front of him. Pass for the 45. And I believe that was on top of Jake Garcia in the 98. Landon Lewis in the 45, one of the road course ringers in today's event. And that was down into turn 1 on the second lap. Again, that's probably the best passing opportunity on this racetrack today. It's a very long on-throttle front straightaway as well. To build that speed, if you get up off of that final corner well enough, utilize the draft, you can make that dive bomb. So get, again, more and more desperate earlier on in the going, but relatively clean so far. Not clean for Dario Franchitti, who got a piece of the wall, the right side of his race truck, somewhere on course. Franchitti sits in 6th. Got to be careful because these are not saber barrier walls. So it's not going to take much making contact with a concrete barrier to do damage and maybe cause a tire rub or anything of that nature. Forget the tire rub, even just the legitimate damage to the car itself. Shorter course than that of COTA, where O'Reilly and Cup action's going on this weekend. The lap times are much faster. Connor Mosack on the second lap of the race was able to put down to 79.954 on his lap time. Adam Andretti also looking to make a pass on the 98 of Garcia, and Garcia's gotten past back-to-back laps in turn 1. He's not able to get through that braking zone well enough. So Garcia slips back to 9th. 16 truck is turned around in the wrong direction. That would be Justin Haley. We'll see if he can get refired. That Dodge Ram, he started just outside the top 10. And it looks like his truck is stalled out because that digital dash is just off. There's no light on the dash as he tries to get the truck refired, and he might need a push. And that was in turn 1 where the spin ended up taking place. Off the front bumper of Stuart Friesen. Tough to tell if Friesen just blew the corner and ended up wiping out Haley in the right rear corner panel. Not a lot of damage to Haley or Friesen's truck. But unfortunately for Haley, just not able to get the truck cycled back up again. And this will lead us to our first caution of the day. So lap 4, caution is out as the field's going to be headed for turn 1. Justin Haley not able to move. Close course yellow. So NASCAR tried to keep it green as long as they could, but can't get it refired. Can't get it refired. Can't really do much about that other than having to throw the yellow, especially with him being on course. No getaway from Haley as he gets some assistance Connor Mosack leading the first 3 laps of today's race out of 77. Gio Ruggiero in second, Ben Rhodes third, James Hinchcliffe in fourth, Chandler Smith rounds out the top 5 in fifth. 6 is Dario Franchitti, Landon Lewis in 7th. Adam Andretti 8th, Jake Garcia 9th. Tyler Ankrum rounds out the top 10. Again, just a few laps in. Long ways to go here at Circuit of the Americas. They will not have to pit for fuel or tire purposes in Stage 1 or Stage 2. Now, most of the race teams, obviously based out of Charlotte, and these truck and O'Reilly teams kind of leech their pit crews off of Cup teams. So when they're all at the track the entire weekend, same racetrack that is, you'll see live pit stops. Well, here today, we are not going to have that. And that's another reason why track position is going to be big for Connor Mosack. He's not going to have to really worry about pitting under green at all. And he will be very, very tough to overthrow. For that, I should have taken the pole sitter Connor Mosack. I usually like taking guys that start up towards the front on these road courses and with the street courses especially, but Caden Honeycutt's up to 12th already, so he's made some moves. So Justin Haley going around for the first yellow. $29 likes on stream so far. Be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. And again, subscribe for more NASCAR content. Franchitti, question mark, says Irina Seri. Yep, 6th place, the Dario Franchitti. He's been retired for about a dozen years, even from the IndyCar ranks. You can see him at the track here this weekend. Back from commercial on Fox. Got an interview coming up here with Scott Dixon and Elio Castro. Oh, sorry, Tony Kanaan. Tony Kanaan and Scott Dixon.
Front stretch and Sky. Scouting the field. Could we see an entry from you?
Not this year, but I'm here for full support for Dario. You know, I think it's so cool to see him back racing. Something that we never thought he'd race as well, but he's doing really well. Hopefully he can keep it rolling, stay out of trouble, and maybe go for a win here.
Tony, I know the roast was last night. Give us a little something. What was said about Mr. Dario?
Well, we just had all the dirt on Dario, but for people that are watching on TV, as Hinch has his new name, Jimmy, right? Dario will be the Princess Franchitti, so you guys can take from there.
Oh, it's been dropped already, Georgia. I'm here with one of our own, Kevin Lee, your son Jackson Lee, making his NASCAR debut today. How excited are you and proud of you as a dad?
This is different. What do I do with my hands? I'm used to holding a microphone. I've worked weekends when he's raced before, so I'm somewhat accustomed to it. I'm pretty busy at the job that I don't really have time to get nervous. But it's a great experience. We have no idea how he'll do. He has 2 laps in the stock car. They went ahead and moved to the back at Dat's request just to try to get some laps, and actually Ford agreed with that too. So the whole team moved to the back. We assume there'll be an early yellow, and we'll just see if he can learn and maybe move forward through some attrition. And then eventually, the idea is to turn some quick laps later in the race.
Dad, strategist, manager, all of the above. But Jackson's grown up at the racetrack, and one of his idols, Dario Franchitti. Now they're in the race together. You sent some pictures earlier today that I just think are so special. How cool is it for Jackson to be racing Dario? And give us some tips.
So Dario was always one of my favorites. When I first got to IndyCar, he was very helpful to me when he was at the height of his career. And he was Jackson's favorite driver when he was a kid. The first Indy 500 he went to, Dario won in 2010. So, yeah, we snapped some pics over the years. So I want to get them together. One, just the dynamic of Jackson was 3 foot tall, and now he's a foot taller than Dario. But, yeah, Dario was helpful and just said, yeah, try to stay out of the mess. Stay out of the mess.
You have a busy day today still, Kevin, with IndyCar later today and Indy next as well. So we'll let you get back to it. Put your dad cap on, your strategist cap on.
See up here on the pit box. I'm normally asking people to climb down, and now I'm the one climbing down.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you, Georgia. What a great story. Glad to have his son Jackson Lee making his Truck Series debut.
All right. Field is going to be doubling up for a restart this time by first restart of the race after a caution on lap 4. And I believe it'll be lap 7 on the restart. So 3 laps of caution after a 4-lap green flag start. We'll have to wait and see how things go. So those of you tuning in for today's live commentary stream, appreciate you all watching. Subscribe for more NASCAR content along the way. Oh, quite a bit of contact with the wall for the 13 on track. That happened during that short green flag stint to start. Green flag is in the air. We'll see how long they'll be able to stay side by side down towards turn 1 for the lead between Ruggiero and Mosak. The initial start, Mosak was able to get in front of the 17 quickly. Maybe not this go around. It's actually not Ruggiero on the outside of row 1. It was after the choose rule, Ben Rhodes in the 99, who's on the outside of row 1, and he is able to get to the lead out of turn 2. So side by side on the outside of turn 1, clear out of turn 2. Mosak has now lost his track position up at the front of the field, and it's Ben Rhodes taking his first lead of the race. I mean, this is a wild card race, if any, for the Truck Series, where I think it's just wide open for guys who maybe haven't had a win in a long time or not as many wins. It's not a stacked Truck Series field this season by way of who's going to be competing for the championship, which definitely frees some things up quite a bit as well. The Rhodes is out there, our first lead change of the day. Mosak leading for the start was fun while it lasted. Top 5 in the running order shortly after this restart has Rhodes in the lead. Connor Mosak in second, Gio Ruggiero third. Chandler Smith in fourth, and James Hinchcliffe rounds out the top 5 in fifth.
Pulling away from the field, about a second and a half over Connor Mosak.
Chandler Smith to the outside into turn 1.
Go, Dario.
Uh-oh.
Get together, Dario and Hitch.
What a save.
Big
Dario
touch.
sent it in there and the back stepped out and he backed it in like they're doing on a MotoGP bike. That was crazy.
They both did an excellent job of avoiding spinning in that situation.
Dario picks up a spot. Hitch falls back. Nice battle right here at the 45.
Hitch isn't going to forget that. I think Hitch might have a little damage on the right front nose of his 77. Let's take a look at a replay there at turn 1 because Dario got in deep. James opened up his hands, and Dario, I think the left rear, little hip check from Dario.
Slipping and sliding down into turn 1. Watch this truck get sideways. Right there.
Wow.
Clobbered him out of the way, but they both held on to him.
Dario would have spun had he not
Look at the reaction.
gotten the help, and he's loving it. I mean, with the finesse is Tony Kanaan.
I bet you Dario isn't loving every minute of it, huh?
Dario's got like 4 crew chiefs.
Yes, he does. And they're all on the radio, by the way.
Yeah.
Jimmy proclaimed himself chief aggravating officer. That's his job for today. And you can see him having a lot of fun on that bike.
Of all the drivers in the field to find themselves, they've got it all straightened out. Dario Franchitti was the winner in that battle. up to 5th now.
Great run for Tyler Ankrum down on the inside.
Makes a move over James Hinchcliffe. Hinch loses one more spot.
Yeah, he locked up there. I don't know if there's some issues with his truck after getting hit by Dario there, but I mean, super lucky for Dario that he was on his way to spinning out, and his buddy James Hinchcliffe, I mean, unfortunately, passively saved it just by being in the right place at the wrong time for James, the right place at the right time for Dario.
We talked about that 11 truck earlier, 5 straight road course wins in a row, and he's moved up 11 spots. So Caden Honeycutt in that 11 had a lot of speed yesterday, and it's going to be fast again today. He'll get there.
He's worked so hard on his road course. It's in this case street course racing with Toyota. Toyota even bringing in Jack Hawksworth, the IMSA champion from the Lexus program, to help Caden Honeycutt. And all these Toyota drivers have really benefited from the time on the simulator and all the efforts that this event was announced.
Look at them hitting that curve. Caden Honeycutt, back to him for a second. Fastest yesterday in that quick practice session. His crew chief, Michael, we documented it. He broke his leg. He's still not here. He's watching from the sidelines. Told me they are doing everything according to plan. They had great thoughts for this. As he goes side by side, Andres Perez into turn 1.
He's going to get that spot, Jamie.
And he does. The 11 into 9th. Andres Perez back to 10. Ben Rhodes continues to lead over Connor Mozak, but a lot of movement just behind them within the top 10.
I talked about Honeycutt being on the move up 10 spots. Lane Riggs in that 34 truck. He started 28, Jamie, and he's all the way up to 12. Wow. We knew he would be strong today as well. He's one of those regular truckers that can get it done anywhere we go, and he's got a lot of speed today.
Lane Riggs with that improvement. He's our biggest mover so far this race. Christian Eckes as well, up 13 spots. Ben Mayer in the 13, up 13 spots, I should say, in the 4 truck.
So, Michael, we're 10 laps in. There's a long way to go. We think a full stint on fuel's about 40, 42 laps, something like that. So only 25% into the tire wear. What's it like for these drivers to adjust typically in a truck as the tires degrade?
You said it earlier, so much power, so little tire. You just really have to manage those rear tires. That's the key to it. And then you're trying to put that brake bias to the rear to keep the fronts from getting so hot so they work well. The experienced drivers in the trucks will understand every bit of that. For Jimmy Hinch, or Dario, it could be a different story.
Adam Andretti last week, first time ever being in a truck, so impressive. Finished 12th on an oval, so we knew he would be somebody to watch this week. This is more in his wheelhouse as we ride on board with Jimmy Hinch.
We can. I love to just watch and listen here as Hinch works the throttle as the tires wear.
So you're just barely squeezing that gas down. That's a key.
Got left foot breakers, right foot breakers.
One thing I've learned through the years, the heavier the race car, the more you have to squeeze the throttle, squeeze the brake, breathe off the pedals, really control the pitch of the vehicle with a lot of tenderness and respect. And nobody had a finer touch in the prime of his IndyCar career than that guy, Dario Franchitti. He really understood what smooth does in terms of going fast over the length of 40 laps.
Dario.
9 laps to go right now in stage number 1 here in the truck race at St. Petersburg. Ben Rhodes is out in front right now. Connor Mozak sits in 2nd. Gio Ruggiero 3rd. Chandler Smith 4th. Landon Lewis rounds out the top 5 in 5th. 6th is Dario Franchitti. Tyler Ankrum in 7th. 8th is James Hinchcliffe. Caden Honeycutt up to 9th place after starting 19th. Andres Perez rounds out the top 10. Then Adam Andretti in 11th, Lane Riggs in 12th, Ty Majeski 13th, Stuart Friesen 14th, 15th is Christian Eckes, Chris Wright in 16th, Jake Garcia 17th, Grant Enfinger 18th, Colin Braun 19th, and 20th is Ben Mayer. Tyler Wright 21st, Daniel Hemrick 22nd, Daniel Dye 23rd, Brendan Queen in 24th, Cole Butcher 25th, Minnie Tyrell 26th, Dawson Sutton 27th, Tanner Gray 28th, 29th, Carter Fadich, and 30th, Jackson Lee. Frankie Muniz in 31st, Timmy Hill 32nd, Derek White 33rd, Wesley Slim 34th, Nathan Nicholson 35th, Justin Haley 36th, a lap down after having that spin His truck did get refired under the caution, so he lost that one lap, but that was it. So still green, obviously, for right now. Ben Rhodes out in front after taking the lead on the restart in turns 1 and 2 from Mosak, who led the first few laps of the race under green before the Justin Haley caution. Haley stalled out in turn 1 after he had spun, making contact with Stuart Friesen. Friesen on the inside, Haley was on the outside. Haley just basically got cleaned out with the 52, overstepping it. Rhodes is putting together some pretty good lap time. Connor Mosak has stayed with him, though, and not letting that 99 pull away after Mosak was kind of pulling away from second on back. Started with Giro Ruggiero in second going into that last restart. I almost wonder if Ruggiero not taking the front row and the restart might have bit him. Chandler Smith got by him pretty quickly. He's settled in fourth now, but lost a couple of valuable spots. Mosak showing a lot of pace, keeping up with Rhodes. We're going to have to wait and see if he can get enough of a run on the guy with clean air to make a pass for position. We could see some trucks at the very back of the pack maybe getting in the way of the leaders. Wesley Slimp in 35th right now. 75 seconds off of the race lead, and lap times hovering right around 80 seconds a lap. Still 6 laps to go in the stage. We're going to get to lap traffic, and that could create an opportunity and an overtake for the lead for Connor Mosak. Just that one yellow, 3 caution laps ran, and the 1 lead change on the restart after. Valuable stage points on the line for Ben Rhodes, who has had a great start to the season. That's why he qualified up at the front, or really with qualifying getting rained out, why he started near the front. Kind of a lengthy road course race by way of laps for the Truck Series. Remember, they did 100 laps at Lime Rock Park last season. Those lap times are closer to 60 seconds. It's an extra 20 seconds a lap, and it's only 20 less laps. Now, one truck pulling wide that might have had some sort of a mechanical issue. Have to wait to see if we get a caution. I think they were trying to get to the kind of pavement exiting whatever turn of the racetrack that was. Several runoff areas around the course where vehicles have a chance to try to get out of harm's way. Not only if they were to overcook the corner and completely miss it, but also mechanical failures, want to get off the track so it doesn't cause a caution. No local yellows in NASCAR, so be full course if there is anybody who stalls out on track. Mosak hounding Ben Rhodes right now with 6 laps to go in stage 1. 10 points on the line for the stage win. Mosak pulling out, a little bit of a bluff, back in line now behind Rhodes. And they'll be coming up on the final corner, back to the main straightaway this time by. And we'll see if Mosak's going to get a run down this front stretch headed for turn 1. Ben Rhodes did a great job beating him back to the throttle. And I think Mosak is losing too much ground on the front stretch. Worked very efficiently through lap traffic the first couple times I had a chance to get through it. These two are over 5 seconds ahead of Landon Lewis, who is now up to 3rd. Lewis taking to the Truck Series very, very fast in that 45 for Nice Motorsports because he qualified back in 8th rather, and has made up 5 spots. All under green flag conditions. Caden Honeycutt up to 8th place after starting 19th. Those are two drivers to look out for in stage 2 and beyond. Obviously, it's just going to be between these front runners for stage 2 if it stays green. And I'm not sure how much longer Ben Rhodes is going to be able to hold on for. He's had a lot of pressure put behind him by Connor Mosack, as Mosack has done nothing but hit his marks the entire race, minus turn 1 on the restart, which allowed for Ben Rhodes to be able to get that pass on the outside, get to the lead where he's at right now. Matthew Dorda Bruno, thanks for tuning in as well. Interval with those top 5 positions, and Rhodes in the lead, a half a second to Connor Mosack, but it looks even tighter than that. 5.7 seconds to Landon Lewis in third. Chandler Smith is 6.6 seconds off the lead in fourth. Gio Ruggiero has fallen to fifth at 7.6 seconds out of the lead. Lockup of those front tires into the braking zone for Rhodes into turn 1. That's not going to help him either when it comes to overall grip, and that's how hard he's pushing right now to hold on for this stage win. Running as hard as ever. Other truck slow on track, trying to stay out of the way. I believe that was Wesley Slimp, who might have some sort of a mechanical issue in the 62. And as far back in the running order as he is. Friesen Holmar equipment. Stuart Friesen, at least in the top half of the field, right around 14th. 25 of Colin Braun. Slipping wide, did a great job to make a save and keep from hitting the wall. Lost a couple positions, but is better than wrecking the race car, especially this early. Great lap by Ben Rhodes. That last time he ran an 80.5 to Mosack's 81.06. Rhodes was the fastest truck on the racetrack. His fastest lap of the race was lap 8. Still about 2/10 off of Mosack's fastest lap, which was lap 10. Got a crash on the racetrack. The 15 truck of Tanner Gray. Quite significant damage. Tried to wait for the back of the field to pass by. He's got just enough of space to back up, get forward and in the right direction, keep the race green. Not a lot of debris over in that area of the track, and he didn't really push a wall in an awkward position where safety officials would have to get back out there and repair that said wall. Oh, this is a big hit too into the tire pack. Kind of left rear first and slapped the left front into the concrete portion of the wall just beyond it. Wall did its job with absorbing the race truck. So we keep on trucking. 2 laps to go now in stage 1, this time by for Rhodes. A few tenths faster lap than Mosack. He's starting to pull away here. Mosack might have used his stuff up a little early in the run, trying to keep up with Ben Rhodes, and he's just not able to keep up with him late. So most road courses, you would see pit stops before the end of the stage, but there's not going to be any sacrificing of stage points or alternate pit strategies today for whether to take stage points or not, because there are no live pit stops in this race. That field window is right around 40 laps, which means we can go all the way through stages 1 and 2 without needing fuel. Though they will have an opportunity during the end of stage 1 and stage 2 to make some adjustments. Leaderboard will be frozen. And you will not gain or lose positions in the pits today. Obviously, if you have to make an unscheduled stop, you'll lose positions, whether that be under green or caution, but Ben Rhodes making the most of this right now. I'm curious, so his fastest lap being a 79.5. Wanted to look back around like Honeycutt, 79.5. Lane Riggs, he has a 79.461. He's up to 7th. Riggs started in 28th. So he's been the biggest mover so far. You know, and I thought about taking him. I mentioned that in the pre-race. I didn't because he was starting towards the very back of the pack. Might cost him some stage points today, but maybe not the race win. Opportunities will arise. Half a lap to go in stage 1 for Ben Rhodes. Maybe even less than that now. A few more corners to go. I think Connor Mosack is just not pushing hard anymore to keep up with Ben Rhodes after losing so much time over the last few laps trying to keep up with him. It's definitely burnt his stuff up. Going to have to look to maybe get that truck better in the long runs. And he still has a gap of more than 2 seconds back to Lewis on the final lap, so he's not in danger of losing any positions at all. Take care of the equipment, live to fight another day, and try to attack on the restart when we get there. Stage 1 in the books. Ben Rhodes is going to win Stage 1 in St. Petersburg. First truck race ever here. First NASCAR sanctioned race in St. Pete. In the street course layout. Connor Mosack second, Landon Lewis third, Chandler Smith fourth, Gio Ruggiero rounds out the top 5 in fifth. 6 for Dario Franchitti, Elaine Riggs 7th, Tyler Ankrum 8th, Caden Honeycutt 9th, Andres Perez rounds out the top 10. We'll take our first break of the stream. You're listening live on KRC, full flag-to-flag coverage on the Truck Series on St. Petersburg Grand Prix weekend.
Well done for Hinch. Welcome to the trucks. A little contact, some passing, but it's been all about this guy. Ben Rhodes getting it done in stage number 1. Pit stops are around the corner.
Pit stop's coming up very shortly. Ben Rhodes, Stage 1 winner, yes. Making it look easy. He was pressured by Connor Mosack, never slipped a wheel, was able to stay steady, and ultimately get the stage win. We'll take a quick look at the point standings through the first 2 races of the season in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series and see just where these drivers are ranking. And obviously 2 drafting style ovals going to shake the points up quite a bit at the start of the season. Got 2 race winners in the first 2 races of the year, though only one is running full-time in trucks, and that's Chandler Smith, our current points leader. He won the season opener at Daytona. Smith also won a stage last week at Atlanta and at Daytona, so 2 stage wins on the year for him, despite the fact that he's only got 8 laps led with that race win. Gio Ruggiero sitting second in points. Obviously, a lot of stage points here today after qualifying, or starting, I should say, on the front row, finishing 5th in the stage. Ben Rhodes came in 35 points out of first. He's going to get 10 here. Chandler Smith, obviously, top 5 in the stage as well. Ty Majeski started deep in the field. I don't think he got to the top 10 yet. A little bit of catch-up having to be played for the likes of Lane Riggs, very deep to start this season. That's why he started towards the back today with qualifying rained out. He's 23rd in points, already 77 back after 2 finishes outside the top 10. Not the way you want to start the season, that's for sure. 70 laps led for Ben Rhodes, most in the series through the first 2 races. He led quite a few at Atlanta last week. Still came back to get a top 5. Gained 7 positions in points in 1 race. Might go to Buffalo Wild Wings with your family tomorrow. There you go. Sounds like fun. Good eating. Steve's got to get going. All right, thanks for stopping by, Steve. Hope to see you later. Red flag conditions are because there are no live pit stops today. So if you're wondering on our live leaderboard why there's a red flag displayed, again, it is a standalone truck event, so no live pit stops. for this weekend's race. Already about 2 hours away from the start of the O'Reilly race a little bit later on. After a relatively snappy stage one.
In terms of Circuit of the Americas, pre-race coverage begins at 2:30 Eastern with the green flag flying at 3:30. That's only on Fox. I know right after this race, Michael Waltrip and myself jumping on a plane. We're flying to Dakota. We're going to cover all the action tomorrow. As you see what's coming up tomorrow, it's a big day right here on Fox as you have the Firestone Grand Prix. 12 Eastern race day for the Cup Series, 2:30 Eastern, and the Duramax Grand Prix at 3:30. Breaking news, Tyler Reddick is still fast. He's fast at Austin, and he is on the pole alongside Ross Chastain. So Reddick, guys, going for 3 straight. Never been done to start the season.
Connor Bozak here staying out at the end of stage one. It looked like pretty much the whole field.
That's interesting. We had seen a fair amount of tire fall off.
And we assume that was the deal, why Brendan Rhodes was able to pull away so much. So we talked about these stops a little bit different. Non-competitive stops, as we talk about. There's no positions gained, no positions lost on pit road.
Patiently waiting, go and change those tires and do some work.
You have to wait until the very last truck parks, until everybody gets the go-ahead to go over the wall. Let's check in with our pit reporters. Hey, Georgia.
Well, hey, Jamie, interesting call by Connor Bozak in the 17, and that wasn't made until pretty late in the stage. They had been telling him for a while to start conserving fuel and save fuel, but Connor Bozak making his first start of 2026, his best road course finish is 10th at the Roval last year, but you have to remember this truck won last weekend in Atlanta, so though very different circumstances, this truck has speed. He was conservative there, progressing over the race, and felt like he could have made a move if he needed to. But they're clearly on a different strategy there. He needs some wedge in the car in the rear, but otherwise he's okay, and he's happy with the car. Well, let's talk about his teammate, James Hinchcliffe. He told me at the beginning of this to go into this race with no expectation, and that's what he's doing right now. There's some damage to the car. They're working on those fenders, and overall, with all the time they had, just making small adjustments to that car. But James going in with no expectations and finishing and figuring out this truck. Amanda.
Hey, Georgia, we're going to start on the 99 of Ben Rhodes. Teams went over the wall about 45 seconds ago to start these pit stops. Ben was talking about that lockup that he's experiencing in turn one with this crew chief. They are going to take tires here, but I did hear that not a lot of tire fall off, which I'm surprised about. Told me that Ben Rhodes was kind of restricting himself out there in case that became a thing. Jamie, I do want to add to you, Ben Rhodes told me the exact same thing. He worked in the sim, he watched the IndyCar races, and he watched Fast and Furious on the way down here, and he is looking absolutely both of those things. As we're going to head over to your Daytona winner, the 38 of Chandler Smith. Chandler told me that he's going to lean onto his Chicago street race experience. He finished 8th there in the inaugural race there for the Xfinity Center. Chandler told me that that got him used to tight walls and lefts and rights and tight walls, but said that he just needs a little more lateral grip and right-handers to his crew chief. We talked about the IndyCar stars that are at track here today. Well, Connor Daly is in the ear of Chandler Smith.
I like it. Connor knows how to get around this place, raced here multiple times, and Chandler getting it done. I mean, great job. He's 4th, came in here for some work, some adjustments all around, it sounds like. And I just love that Ben Rhodes. That's such a Ben Rhodes thing. Fast and Furious. It's working. Keep doing it.
Hold on. Take a look at Hinch's truck here. I mean, he's got big damage to the right rear as we take a look at some replay. Here's Dario Franchitti, who I think is responsible for most, if not all, of that right side damage. Again, Dario losing the back end of his truck. James there to unfortunately receive and help him. And then the 34 just pushing the 77.
Wayne Riggs says, move over,
Excuse
sir.
me, I am coming through. They'll get that thing tidied up, though. He's got good pace.
Action packed for James Hinchcliffe back in 11. Let's hear
see.
from him. What do you think?
Let's see how James is doing. We're looking at Dario right there, but hey, James, is T-Bell in the Fox booth. You copy?
Yeah, I got you, buddy.
Man, you were roasting Dario for 2.5 hours last night. It took him about all of 8 laps to browbeat you there in turn one. What'd you feel from your position?
Affected the handling a little bit, but these guys are doing what they can to tone it down. So hopefully we'll be strong here in the second stage.
All right, fire up and get going. They're rolling.
TV was interrupting us here.
Gets him fired.
I hope he gets his position there.
No spots lost on pit lane. Great to hear from James Hinchcliffe and what he's thinking. Stage number 2 is coming up. Can Ben Rhodes hang on?
That's why you don't. I feel like that is such a Fox problem there. That's why you don't dial up the driver while they're in their pit box like that. Like, what were they thinking? Wait till he gets back out in the track during the caution period or something. Get the leaderboard back up on screen as we're going to be racing here again shortly. Slight red flag condition, and that is because of the stage break. And no live pit stops this weekend with it being a standalone truck race. So again, Ben Rhodes won the stage, but Connor Mosack, who finished second, does not pit. So he's only going to move up one spot in the running order. I mean, is that one position that crucial? Very few drivers have been able to make their way through the field, passing a decent amount of cars, or other trucks specifically. Lane Riggs, biggest mover, started 28th, got up to 7th before the end of the stage. Caden Honeycutt started 19th, got to 9th. And then Landon Lewis started 8th, got to 3rd. Clean air is king here. I mean, I guess so, but 20 lap older tires is going to be tough when everybody else behind you pitted. There might have been some drivers further back in the field who might have tried to stay out as well. That will be better for Mosack if that is the case. Get a few extra buffer cars. And he's got great pace, obviously, but I don't know. 20 lap older tires is going to be very tough, especially on the restarts when he already got beat by Rhodes on equal tires, which is why he lost the lead in the first place. And had they led, you know, would they have made the decision to stay out or not still is a discussion worth having in and of itself. No, I believe it was just Mosack. Everybody came to pit road except for the 7 truck. Ben Rhodes is going to be second in the restart. Tyler Reif, I believe, got the free pass after he had a spin earlier in the stage. Actually, know what it was. He stalled out the initial pace laps. Got some assistance. He's still in the race. Was able to make the start. We did not start the race without Tyler Reif.
Mid 400 Unlimited race streaming live on Speed on Fox YouTube channel on Saturday starting at 1 Eastern. The Jimmy Johnson in-car cam experience will be streaming on all Speed on Fox social channels. Guys, the Mid 400, growing up in Las Vegas, you've always heard about this truck race. Jimmy's going back to his roots. This guy is just having the time of his life. So we're looking forward to that. You can follow it all right there. Speed on Fox social channels and the YouTube channel.
Let's ask him about it. Jimmy Johnson, it's Walter been the gang for Fox for years.
Yeah, but yeah.
Wow, you're going to do the mid 400. Tell me a little bit about that experience. I mean, it's been so much fun watching you in your element here today. How's that going to feel?
And again, I'm going back to my roots in a lot of ways going here for evening. Next weekend, I get to get dirty. We not wait to be there yet. Fun, convention, and horsepower and stuff. So, if everybody enjoys the street that's going to come off of that, can't wait to get in the truck.
We can't wait to watch. Fox will have it all covered for you, and I know it's going to be a good time. How do you think your driver's doing? He got a little bit wild there.
Never mind. Cool. Yep. Our shoes in there, we're choosing outside.
Choosing time. Good to hear from Jimmy. We're looking forward to hearing.
And it's important to choose, right? It is critical to be able to hear from your spotter. There you see the choose arrow.
There it is. You got to dip left or right of that.
And some of the teams have spotters just down there for it.
That's usually a penalty if you actually run over it. Garcia just did that.
I heard if you hit the box, I think he might. Oh, that one's definitely
Right
straight
over
over.
Timmy.
No.
He's last anyway.
Well, take off. Replace it.
And guys, yeah, 5 trucks worked past that 3-minute limit. So they're in the back as we get ready right now to go racing for stage number 2. Here we go on the outside, then on the inside.
Green flag is going to be back in the air. So Mosak, who lost the lead, taking the inside of row 1 in the last restart. Now he's got fresh tires underneath of him of Ben Rhodes. We'll see if Rhodes can do it from the inside of the racetrack in 1 and 2 now. Corner exit speed might go to the outside lane truck, but it's not going to matter because Rhodes is clear in the middle of 1 and 2 anyway and looks to accelerate his way through turns 3 and 4. Very close to the wall, Dario Franchitti with a lot of pressure from behind by Lane Riggs in the 34. Riggs with the old bump and run earlier. Oh, Caden Honeycutt way wide. Way too much speed down around turn 7. Had to go into that strip of asphalt that was off the race course just to avoid hitting any walls or making contact significantly with any drivers. He was never going to make the corner. He was going way too fast, and he was on the outside of 3 wide, which is not something you want to be on a street course. Track is not wide enough for that. That was a big missed opportunity there for Honeycutt, and all that work he did back in stage 1 to go from 19th to 9th is lost with that big maneuver. High risk and a low reward there. He's back to 25th before he was able to get back on track. Connor Mosak kind of holding everybody up in second, while Ben Rhodes already a second and a half ahead of the field. That bumper car for Mosak on the older tires, holding other drivers up behind who have not been able to make this pass or find an opportunity to make a great passing attempt. They're wasting quite some time. How much bigger of a lead is Ben Rhodes going to get out to? And can Connor Mosak hold on for decent track position? If he falls out of the top 2, I don't know why he didn't pit, because I mean, he was literally the only one that stayed out. Unless they were thinking that more trucks were going to stay out on that strategy with him, but that just did not work. I mean, I get hindsight's 20/20, but that was not bold, because you're not going to lose any positions by pitting. That's the insane thing. Like, I can understand if there were live pit stops, maybe you would have had more takers, but in a situation where you can't gain or lose spots unless you just completely don't pit, you'll leapfrog everybody like that. And he was already in second. You know, it would have been one thing to maybe try that if he was back around, you know, outside the top 10 or a little bit inside the top 10, but doesn't feel he can go out there and pass 7 or 8 trucks on track. He's losing spot after spot after spot now. Once one hole gets opened up, it's easy for another driver to try to sweep in. Like Lane Riggs right now, 3 wide into turn 1. Perfect corner by Riggs. He's going to get nearly crossed over by Giro, but then Riggs kind of cut the nose off of that 17 truck. Stays in front of him. Mosak's already back to 6th. Dario Franchitti going to make a pass on him. Ty Majeski in the 88 also looking to get by Mosak. Mosak nearly into the wall. This is going to be so tough for him, too, to stay out of everybody's way. There's just too much fall off to have that happen. And now we've got a crash somewhere on course. Oh boy, a few others side swiping. Same area of the track Tanner Gray had crashed earlier, kept it going. There was no caution. We should get a yellow here because there is debris left behind, unlike the Gray incident. And that'd be the 5 of Adam Andretti, who's got the entire back end of that race truck all demolished.
Right there as well.
So caution's out.
Yes.
So optimistic was Adam.
Yeah, he was having a blast.
Yeah.
Top of the screen there.
Oh.
Little help.
Sure, got into the back of him a little bit, and they got turned into the tires. But he hit tire stack, Michael. He didn't hit concrete. Oh, Adam
There's
Andretti.
another
The right front, though, got hit pretty good.
another hard hit coming up here.
So under caution now for the third time today, with 3 trucks involved there. Working lap number 8 here, stage number 2, Ben Rhodes out front.
All right. Well, about 54 laps to go out of 80 in today's Truck Series race in St. Petersburg. Ben Rhodes, after winning stage 1, got out to a pretty sizable gap ahead of second place because of Connor Mosack staying out of the pits, kept holding everybody up for about a lap and a half before drivers are able to get by him for second. But now that gap is gone with the caution. Everything is going to be reset. Rhodes in the lead. Chandler Smith in second. Landon Lewis is third. Lane Riggs fourth. Gio Ruggiero in fifth. Dario Franchitti in sixth. Seventh is Ty Majeski. Connor Mosack eighth. James Hinchcliffe ninth. Tyler Ankrum in 10th. Grant Enfinger 11th. And Andres Perez 12th will round out our top dozen for the ensuing restart. Take a quick break. You're listening live on KRC. We'll take our second of the race. Lots of time left in this one today. Third caution, second for incident, first of stage 2. Longest green flag run was from lap 7 on the restart to lap 20, a 13-lap stretch. And that lap 20 was the stage 1 to end. Stage 2 will end at lap 40. We're already at the 13 to go mark in the stage, so this restart we're not going to have as many laps left in the stage as what we did back at stage 1. Final stage of 40 laps is going to be interesting. Yeah, Dario's still running 6th, right where he started. I mean, that's just the consistency of him hitting his marks. He's not getting past. And if he is, he's made a couple passes on other trucks as well. Lane Riggs is definitely the quickest. I've not seen anybody not only rocket through the field that quick on a street course before, but probably should have used my educated guess that Lane Riggs would be the favorite for this. Not Caden Honeycutt. I took a guy who's never won before. That's silly on my part. And he was fastest in practice, so there was a bit of logic there. Honeycutt on the restart was 9th at the end of stage 1 despite starting 19th. Tried to go 3 wide on the outside of, I believe, Franchitti and Riggs. In the middle section of the racetrack was never going to make the corner that way, so he had to go wide, miss the corner, turn back around, come back onto the track. That costed him from about 9th place back to 25th. And in the next few laps, he went from 25th to 19th again, so he's right back where he started the race. Problem is we're 27 laps in. Yep, Chandler Smith obviously having a good day as well. So Rhodes leads. We'll see if he can sweep the first 2 stages today. AJF, thanks for tuning in. What'd you miss? Stage 1 and early of stage 2.
Fox Sports app or wherever you get your podcast. A lot of fun watching those guys. They are working in overdrive, covering everything.
You ever fallen asleep during a race?
Oh, that sounds crazy.
It sounds insane, let alone off-road in Baja.
So pit stops underway. Some damage repair for Adam Andretti. We saw there Frankie Muniz
There's Frankie.
back on the lead lap. And Ben Rhodes, he's just been the man of the day here at the streets of St. Pete.
There's a lot of driving in between race weekends. I was talking to Ben Rhodes about the trip, but let's get to this first. Hot starts to start the season. I mean, Chandler Smith doesn't get any better than kicking things off with a win at Daytona. You know what that's like.
Best in the world. And then the other guys, on the other hand, have had some struggles mightily. And Daniel Hemricks, they got worse just now, so still struggling.
So did Tanner Gray. We saw the damage for him as well. Big damage for Adam Andretti.
Now, this is something we don't do in IndyCar very often, Michael. There's not even a hammer in our toolboxes, let alone a sledge.
I'm glad we're getting to expose you to all these nuances of what it takes to be successful in NASCAR. A big hammer.
So they continue working on this truck.
This mess.
Andretti, he is the nephew of the one and only Mario Andretti. And Amanda, you have him.
Oh, hey.
We're up on the pit box for Adam Andretti and Townsend. We can hear that big hammer going to work out here. And Mario, I just talked to you off camera. A massive weekend for you that also includes family. What's the hardest part?
Well, what we're seeing right here, obviously, you know, it's just one of those things. I didn't see the replay, but regardless, he'll be able to continue. But obviously, he's out of, you know, any chance of really have a great finish. So, well, it's that's the way it is sometimes, you know. But yeah, a bit disappointing for him.
How many people have told you happy birthday today?
A lot more than I ever expected. It's amazing. You know, it's really flattering, but honestly, I can't believe it. You know, it's I just love it.
Well, this one is for us and from the fans watching at home.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda. It's great to
That makes me so happy.
happy birthday. See him at every IndyCar race. Like we have the King. Richard Petty is at every race in NASCAR. He's getting to witness something a little different.
Such a kind person.
He really is.
Let's choose it up. What do you say, Townsend?
Well, Ben Rhodes has got a lot of experience running at the front of this thing, and he goes driver's left, which would put him on the outside there in turn one. So he likes staying on the racing groove down there in turn one. It gives him the position for turn two if they do run side by side. I think that's what Ben Rhodes is thinking right now.
I like that strategy.
Great aerial shots. Great job by our camera crew all around the track. Got 3 wide stopped here. Little traffic jam on the racetrack.
Oh, geez.
Is it a bathroom break? What's going on here, Michael?
That's like us trying to get in the track this morning. A little bit bound up.
We're expecting 200,000 people throughout these 3 days here this weekend. So a lot of new eyeballs on the NASCAR Truck Series.
There's one of those Rams. A lot of eyeballs on Ram coming into the Truck Series. Vinny Terrell won their Drive for a Ride contest, hanging right in there. Most of those guys I talked to just said we need to run a couple races, get our legs under us with those Rams, and that's exactly what Vinny's doing so far.
I had so much fun watching at home. Tony Stewart in that Ram at Daytona, and just how anxious and the jitters for him. He looks like a rookie all over again. Let's listen to a little bit of radio here from Ben Rhodes on what he's dealing with.
Oh, it's like no grip for the first corner. Actually, after I come out of 9, then I have grip. And it's like that on, and it's like that on that yellow flag every single time.
What I'd like to say also is like he's got a different group of guys chasing him now. We've seen how fast that Lewis has been and how fast that Chandler Smith has been. Riggs is up in the top 5 now. He's got to step his game up if he wants to keep that lead.
Yeah, it's pretty cool that we talk about the truck experts coming into this thing, and right now you got 5 truck experts in the top 5 and a track expert in Dario Franchitti. So this battle, very fascinating as it plays out. What Ben Rhodes was talking about was debris on his tires. I'm not sure if he's aware that under these cautions, there's a lot of pickup that you get on your tires. I think that's what's required for him to get those cleaned up.
How about Colin Brown, guys?
It's Braun,
The
not
best
Brown.
Ram truck right now, back in 14th.
He's got a truck win, you know.
Yes, he certainly does. I believe that was at Michigan. He's done it all. He's even raced an IndyCar around here. 3-time IMSA champion.
A super versatile racer, 26 career IMSA sports car class wins. Truck winner back in 2009. Look at how young he was. I remember he was a Roush Racing sort of gong show winner, right? He was that young talent back when so many kids were coming into the sport, that big surge of new personalities. And it's great to see him at age 37 now back at the wheel once again in a truck.
Now the trucker's going to have a couple weeks off. Then we're going to race at Darlington. And Corey LaJoie just announced he will be behind the wheel for Ram in the 25 truck.
What about the run we're going to go on? Talked about the start of the season. Darlington, Rockingham, Bristol. Those are the races that are coming up.
Hey, Dario and James are out there. When I get a turn?
I don't know. My ship might have sailed.
I don't think so.
Watching Dario today really reminds me. You mentioned Tony Stewart at Daytona. I mean, just the excitement, the
Oh, yeah.
fun of it, the love of racing.
Dario's even got the breeze strip over his nose.
Yeah.
I mean, he's at 52. He looks like he's doing it for the first time with tons of focus and enthusiasm.
He doesn't age, by the way.
He's a good-looking man.
Here we go. Ben Rhodes, can he hang on to this lead? Chandler Smith all over him.
And Chandler kind of squeeze him out a little bit, maybe get a better angle off that corner. Will that outside lane prevail for Ben?
I think if Chandler wants to hold position at the front here, he's going to dive it.
3-1 into 2-1.
Now 2, 34.
Oh, beautiful. Chandler Smith crossed up Riggs in turn 1, and he'll have the point. Ben Rhodes, meanwhile, goes from the front of the field to third. Beautiful stuff from the 38.
Chandler Smith leads for the first time today. Look at these trucks standing out behind him. Tyler Ingram. Got blue and orange number 18 taking a peek, trying to go 3 wide.
Just going to continue to get more and more pushing and shoving. He's getting more and more aggressive, take more chances. That was a bold move by Riggs and a great move, as you said, by Chandler Smith.
10 laps to go here in stage number 2. 50 laps remaining overall. We got to look back at that turn 1
Wow.
move.
3, wow.
What I saw there out of Chandler Smith in the 38 was patience. He sees Lane Riggs with the big dive, that yellow and white truck. He said, I'm just going to hold up here, cut across, get a late apex, square up the exit. And he got the best drive off, and he's pulling away.
What do you think about our man Mosack now? He's able to get the guys have the new one pulling off their tires now, and he's hanging right in there.
He is. We'll see how long that lasts.
Got a bit of a gap.
Guys, Lane Riggs started pretty far back, up 26 spots, and now he's battling for the lead of this race. Teammates, first and second.
Wow.
He's the most aggressive driver that I've seen in this race so far. But even though he's had some contacts of pushing and shoving, that truck looks pretty clean bodywork wise. Nothing's torn up on it. That's the sign of a guy that really understands how much you can get away with and still protect your stuff.
Can't say enough about Gio Ruggiero also, Jamie. Another run right up into the top 5. That's good everywhere we go.
The consistency for Gio Ruggiero.
Had 3 third places, I believe, last season on the road courses. He's a quiet guy. You talk to Gio Ruggiero, you don't get a lot of information out of him, but he is intently focused on delivering today. He's working really hard along with all the other Toyota drivers. We talked about everything in the simulation, and now Lane Riggs right back on the 38.
I think Lane Riggs might have the fastest truck.
Let's get an update on Lane Riggs. Amanda.
Yeah, I just want to add in the stage, like, same issue of his teammate Chandler Smith needing that lateral grip in the right-hander. Lane told me he started working on this race back in December, got into them, went forward and said he's been trying to prepare for this, wanting to make a splash here today, and sure is he doing it. I got it for Front Row Motorsports. FBI just gave me a 2 thumbs up of like just excitement. There's claps around here, but Jamie and Michael, I want to go back to a conversation we had last year with these 2 teammates. They will work together. So while stage 1 might have been Ben Rhodes, this stage might go to Front Row Motorsports.
That's what they're doing. This is the plan, right? These 2 teammates get along so well, Townsend. They were paired together last year, and right away, Michael, we saw how it was going to go down with them, and I think they both prevailed because of it, both getting wins during the season.
Yeah, this is something that is not surprising at all. These guys racing in front. We're seeing the consistency of them all year long. Last year, and now here they are right up front again. Hopping those curves. What do you think about that, Townsend? It's fun to watch, isn't it?
Oh, it's great. Reminds me of V8 supercars down at Surfers Paradise as Frankie Muniz comes to pit lane. I'm not sure the crew was quite ready for him there as the 33 sits. And what are they doing here, Michael?
Let's have a problem with the battery. Battery, perhaps, on that left rear. That's usually what you might see.
Looks
That's
like this
Frankie.
mechanic right here is holding the battery. Sorry.
That's Frankie Muniz. You're just tuning in, like that name sounds familiar. Malcolm in the Middle, a Hollywood actor. He still does act, but this is his full-time love affair. He absolutely loves racing. He grew up racing on road courses and ended up going stock cars. And we saw him, you went a lap down, you got the free pass, and now bigger issues. Can't get it to fire, and you see the frustration.
We've been there, done that, huh?
Go a lap down in this thing. It's going to be tough the rest of the day. And he might go 2 laps down here as he still sits as the leaders come back around to complete another one. You talk about curb hopping here. I'm going to watch that 34 lane ranks because as he comes here out of turn 10, watch him come through 11 and 12 here.
He's aggressive.
He is all over that second apex, bouncing through. Briggs has Colt Carter, I believe, as a spotter. Cole, the son of Pancho Carter, spends most of the year in IndyCar as a spotter. Has been here for years in St. Pete. So not only does Briggs have a great truck and appears to be one of the fastest drivers right now, he's got tons of experience up top, keeping an eye on him, especially as they get Jamie into those 3 wide situations down in turn 1.
Well, something interesting here. You know, IndyCar, they have maybe 1 spotter, 2 spotters here. These guys have up to 4 spotters around this track for them.
There they are.
Georgia.
Thanks, Jamie. I actually made my page. Now, I want to highlight the spotters. As we know in motorsports, teamwork makes the dream work, and especially here on street courts, spotters are so important. You already alluded to it. They have 3 spotters, but something I found interesting, there are only 2 spotters in the whole group that did Atlanta last weekend, and there's 7 spotters being split between IndyCar and NASCAR themselves. So it's so important here specifically. You got to look at the turn 1 spotters stand there scattered throughout the course themselves, but so important and doing a fantastic job today here on the streets of St. Pete.
I love the crossover too. You know, you get these IndyCar spotters, they get a ring from a NASCAR driver, and they're double dipping this weekend.
Let me tell you who's dipping. This time, he's got that 88 truck on the move. He's run up inside the top 5 now. Just this last time, got around Gio Ruggiero, and he's got pace. Every lap that goes by, he's in the top 5. So keep your eye on number 88.
He's loving being in that Menards truck. And I talked to Ty Majeski about how he practiced and learned for St. Pete for his first time. And he said, hey, I'm a development driver for iRacing. He said, they've been working on the track model and I get to be one of the early testers. It's not available to the other drivers, but he's got a tight relationship there. That's pretty cool.
What a coup for him. And he said, yeah, this is going to be available to the public in a month where you can race on iRacing on St. Pete, but he's got an early look at it. It's helped him prepare as he makes his way forward. Ty Majeski running 5th.
Listen to what our friend Dario Franchitti has been saying on the radio. The number 1 Dollar Tree truck currently running in 8th.
He's fast.
Here we all do. Right around, looks like it's got a lot of green in it. Pretty good. I don't think you will do.
Talking about the tire wheel having concrete in it.
Dario did fly, but must have been some earlier conversation, and then maybe Dario got into the wall somewhere around here. But it looks like he was turning left just fine, and that's what you want if the right front does have some damage. The 34 now inching closer to the 38 here.
What a battle up front.
There it is.
Into 1, it's where we've seen it all day. Jumps over the curb. Yeah, they can stick.
Little teammate work there. They weren't going to take each other out. I think Lane showed him what he had, and Taylor said, I can defend that. But it's fast, obvious right now that the 34 is faster than the 38.
And he's driving different, Michael. He's much more aggressive on the curbs, just about everywhere. He seems to be shortcutting the course just by inches where he can, shortening up the distance between 2 points. He seems very confident, very comfortable, not just banging those curbs, but giving a little bump to competitors to get himself forward. An unbelievable drive based on where he started. 26 spots he's moved up.
And you mentioned it earlier about the wake, the air off the truck in front of him, plus the view. You can't really see all these corners as well when you're stuck right up on the back of another guy. To be able to drive like that with all that considered, it's amazing.
Watch Riggs right here. Difference right there. He's a good 6 to 8 feet further driver's left, shortening the track up right there. The other thing running in that wake, engine gets hot, brakes get hot.
That was close.
Oh, He's going to make that dive bomb again. He's got the momentum. You
I
can
think
see
he's
it.
going to go for it now.
Maybe one.
There it is.
Still one right
That's
now.
Lane Riggs to his teammate Chandler Smith. Side by side.
Oh.
It's clean. He doesn't do it.
Might do it right here.
What a crossover.
You can't go too wide there, Lane Riggs. Oh boy, big old slide. Now
Big
the
old
lock
slide.
comes on.
Gonna get it done here. Lane's
Good battle.
Can he clear Chandler Smith?
Nope.
Leaving him space.
Half of a truck lane.
Wow.
Side by side. How are they doing this?
That's good stuff.
That was excellent.
And he gets it done. Lane Riggs to the point. What a drive today.
I think he'll pull away now.
Well, we'll see. We saw this earlier with Mozak and Ben Rose. How much tire did Lane Riggs leave himself? He still has 3 to go in this stage, but he wants this stage win.
Fans are getting a great show today. I'm walking around. People are so excited. They're used to all of our support series here with the IndyCar series, but this is something so different.
Fastest truck that last time, Jamie, was that bright yellow Menards. Ty Majeski, he had the best lap time. He's coming.
Yeah, and it's kind of surprising we haven't talked about Ty Majeski the entire race because of how deep in the field he also started. Although he's making his way through the pack, not as quick as that of Lane Riggs, who is now in the lead for the first time today. And what time to do that than with 3 laps to go in Stage 2, where the pay window is going to be open for those points after getting to 7th in Stage 1, despite starting back in 28th. And again, on a street course, that is very, very difficult to make up that many positions in that short amount of time. But we'll see what he can do. Into Stage 3, he's going to be very tough to beat. Eyeball test would say that he was the fastest in Stage 1. Now he's got track position. He's already pulling away from Chandler Smith after making the pass on him about a lap ago. He's got a second lead. Ty Majeski was able to get by his teammate, Ben Rhodes, for 4th. And I would say Lewis and Majeski are probably the biggest threats to that of Riggs for the win, although Chandler Smith was holding his own. It's all going to be a matter of, is Lane Riggs going to make a major mistake on a restart situation? We're guaranteed one more with the start of Stage 2, but knowing it's 40 laps and this is a new circuit for NASCAR, for the Truck Series, I just don't imagine we're going to go caution-free in that last stage, and he's going to just have to survive. Good news is he's in the front, so he doesn't have to overstep it trying to make a pass from behind like we've seen him do before several times last season when he was going for wins. Some over-aggressive mistakes. And he's definitely been ultra-aggressive today, but he's had the speed to back it up, and he's making these passes worth it. James Hinchcliffe ended up spinning around during the course of Stage 2. Believe he was 11th after Stage 1. And now he's outside of the top 20. Not faring as well as Dario Franchitti from the IndyCar world coming to the NASCAR ranks for today's IndyCar and Truck Series doubleheader. Of course, as for IndyCar, their race will be tomorrow afternoon, and that will be on before the NASCAR race on your local Fox affiliate. Right here in St. Petersburg. Coming to the finish of Stage 2 is Lane Riggs into the final corner. Lap truck ahead of him. He'll spare Timmy Hill. And as they come back to the line, Lane Riggs, again, your Stage 2 winner. Front Row Motorsports has had at least one stage win in each of the first 3 truck races. Chandler Smith was able to get a stage win in Stage 1 at Daytona, Stage 2 at Atlanta, and now Stage 2 here, it's Lane Riggs at St. Petersburg. 1-2 finish for Front Row Motorsports in the stage, though. Chandler Smith in second. He scored a ton of stage points already this season. More here today. Landon Lewis, third in both Stage 1 and Stage 2. Ty Majeski up to 4th. Ben Rhodes, after winning Stage 1, finishes 5th in the second stage. Gio Ruggiero, 6th, rather. He was 3rd at the end of Stage 1. Tyler Ankrum, 7th. Dario Franchitti, 8th. Grant Enfinger, 9th. Andres Perez rounds out the top 10. And again, 1 point per position there, 10 points for first, all the way down to 1 point for 10th. Just over an hour into the race here. We're about halfway home. 4 cautions now. 5 lead changes, and we'll have pit stops on the other side of the break. You're listening live on KRC as our Truck Series race coverage continues in St. Pete. Ford's looking strong. Yes, they are. And 4 Fords up inside the top 5. Lewis in a Chevy. Giro, highest Toyota in 6th. And of the Dodge Rams, Colin Braun in 12th. That's the highest running of those. Remember, Justin Haley went a lap down back in stage 1 because of that spin, stalled out. He got the free pass at the end of stage 1 for being the first car off the lead lap, and he was able to go to 20th place during the course of stage 2. Started the race in 12th. And Connor Mosack, first truck a lap down in 29th. Having those old tires did not pan out well for him. He was in 2nd at the end of stage 1, stayed out of the pits on old tires. Did not pit during the caution either. Maybe hoping they could have stayed in the top half of the running order. That did not happen. So now he's going to get the free pass. He will get back on the lead lap, but obviously no longer anywhere near the front. Started on pole today as well. Led some laps early. Was passed by Ben Rhodes on the first restart of the day. Ran second to him, put a lot of pressure on him. Put a lot of speed in that race truck, but not going to be able to show for it. Maybe could have been a threat to the Front Row Motorsport Fords of Lane Riggs and Chandler Smith for the win. 7 laps led for the driver of the number 7. And that will hurt them in the owner's standings as well. Kyle Busch winning that race in the 7 last week for the trucks at Atlanta. O'Reilly Series racing today at 3 p.m. Eastern. That will be at COTA. We'll go live at 3 p.m. Eastern also tomorrow for the NASCAR Cup race at COTA. And again, with no pickers for these truck teams that we would usually see, weekends they'd be racing obviously with the Cup Series. These are non-competitive pit stops, so the order in which they came into the pits is the order in which they will leave. And they can make it on field to the end from here, so everybody will be coming in this time. Connor Mosack was the only driver who stayed out the first go-around.
Plenty more racing action to come your way tomorrow right here on Fox. It's the fastest racing on earth. It returns as Alex Palou, Joseph Newgarden, and Pato O'Ward lead the way. As the 2026 IndyCar Series fires off at noon Eastern right here on Fox. Everybody's pumped up and ready. A lot of changes. You saw Will Power, new team this year. Love all the storylines. As we continue here at St. Pete, you see all the truckers have come to a stop for second round of stops for most of these truckers. And Georgia, you're up first.
Thanks, Jamie. It's busy down here on pit lane. Let's talk about Landon Lewis, a bit of a standout there. The 2025 Cars Late Model Stock Tour champion. And he has a win on a road course in 2023 at Portland. He was told by his team, you are pulling away. Everyone's in your windshield. And that was at the spot he was in at the time. And before to go, he ran his fastest lap yet. Keep it up, said the team. And he's happy with the truck. They're just working on some damage to the left side there. Now let's talk about Connor Mosack. Also a standout, but for different reasons this race. At the beginning of the race, he led laps and he did not pit at the end of stage 1. So as you can imagine, he battled some rear grip issues as his tires kept degrading, but ultimately he had to come in on lap 35 for damage to the left side of the truck. He's going to come in again. He's on pit lane right now. The left side was still dragging, and they're going to try to salvage their day in this last stage. Amanda.
Well, Georgia Ross stage 2 was all Front Row Motorsports. It was stage 1 for Ben Rhodes, who the truck kind of fell off there in stage 2. I talked to the crew chief. He said that they simply just got that truck too tight, so they're going to make some adjustments there. You got to remember, Ben Rhodes' mindset this season is diplomacy is out. It's all about winning. I expect this last stage to get extra spicy. And for Dario Franchitti, a lot of action down here. Jimmy Johnson actually getting in on the action, as we're probably going to show you guys, but he did throw a bag of ice into the truck for Dario Franchitti. Guys, it is rather warm down here as the sun is out here on the streets of St. Pete. But I talked to Dario ahead of this race about what success would be like for him here. And he said, I just want to know that I got the most out of this truck, that I did my job, and I had fun. And if all those things happen, might see me again. So the door is open to see Dario perhaps in a truck again. I imagine he's loving every minute of this. He's been running top 10 the whole time. And it's been a fun one. We've had 4 different lap leaders today. Ben Rhodes, Chandler Smith.
All right, cutting back to commercial as we're in the midst of stage 2 pit stops. And we will get back underway to racing very shortly. 40 laps to go, halfway home, 40 laps in. 1 hour, 7 minutes, 26 seconds after the race has started to where we're at right now. 4 cautions, 2 stage breaks, and 2 cautions per incident, 1 in each stage. Both in the first half of those stages as well. On the back half went caution-free. With everybody pitting here, your top half dozen for the next restart will have Lane Riggs in the lead, Chandler Smith in second, Landon Lewis third, Ty Majeski fourth, Ben Rhodes in fifth, and Gio Ruggiero in sixth. Only 2 drivers who had top 10s in each of the first 2 races of the season were the top 2 in points, Gio Ruggiero and Chandler Smith, as they try to go 3 for 3 to start the season in top 10 finishes. Chandler Smith is in second, and again, Ruggiero sixth. And as for Gio Ruggiero, a top 5 in each of the first 2 races at Daytona and Atlanta. So he's flirting with that today. Started in second. Keeps the truck clean. He'll have a shot. A lot of fast drivers up in front of him, though. By way of what we've seen so far through the first half of the race. Just tuning in right now. Again, we're under caution because it is the end of stage 2. We just had pit stops. We'll get back to racing here shortly. 44 likes on the stream. Appreciate that, everybody. Be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. O'Reilly racing today at 3 p.m. Eastern, and we'll be live for the Cup race tomorrow on Fox. Here on KRC as well at 3 p.m. Eastern. Ooh. Should be back from commercial any second here. Should be. Hoping they are, because I got to use the restroom. So, a drivers only broadcast looks like coming up on Fox. When is this? The fact that they're advertising this already, it seems like it's going to be early in the season compared to usual. Darlington, March 20th, which is actually the next truck race, oddly enough. 3 weeks off for the truck series after today, before they go to Darlington, South Carolina for their next event.
They're professionals by now. And what you done, Austin Cindrich? He's not junior in the pits.
Just a great crew and brings all the energy and excitement to the truck series. I love drivers only because these guys are the stars of NASCAR, and that's what people tune in to watch.
Cindrich, he just packs his own little lunch and he eats the whole time. And then he looks for lunch with the other drivers.
Good kid.
He is. He's a big kid. Looking forward to that just a couple of weeks. So all the drivers were on pit road, getting adjustments, fueling up, getting tires. And this was Dario. That's some ice. Shoulder sore.
Yeah. I wonder if that's seat position related or just working the steering wheel, if there's something else that's going on.
Was that the right side of the truck where he bumped the wall? And maybe like Townsend said, that seat just didn't quite like he needed. Maybe he hurt himself.
I don't know, but clearly in some pain there. And Michael, most of the corners here are right-handers, so you're pulling down on that steering wheel, and it does put a lot of demand on your right shoulder. Let's see if we can dial him up real quick and find out. Hey, Dario Townsend in the Fox booth, you copy?
Good for a little bit of a lift scan. Yeah, it's clear, Bandit.
Hey, but we're just watching that last stage break, and it looks like you had an ice pack. Everything okay there in the cockpit? It looked like maybe you were struggling a little bit with your right shoulder.
Yeah, that's a little bit too. You know, fine driving. Baseball or ice pack. So, no, it's everything good. The, a little hot here. I mean, the aircon is not what I was expecting. So, dealing with that, just I keep touching the wall, those places damaging the front of the truck. I just got a funny edge at one point, which I was mortified about. I know we made a joke about it, but I'm absolutely mortified about it, and I'm going to apologize to him.
All right. Well, it was a position that worked out, but you're doing a great job. Watching you do the 3-pedal thing is pretty cool. Keep it up, bud.
Thanks. Oh, yeah, give it the rest of it. Good to feel what's going on. And hit the front of it.
He'll be all right.
So Dario Franchitti will restart 8th here. He's doing a heck of a job.
Grant Enfinger, haven't talked about Grant yet today, and he's driven up inside the top 10 now. He rides there in 9th, Andres Perez.
But Jackson Lee, one of our first timers in the truck series.
You can see those knees. You talked about what it's like being in one of these trucks as a tall cat.
Yeah, but look at how he's doing, up to 25th, started all the way at the back on purpose just to kind of learn and stay out of trouble. But remember, yesterday, he couldn't even turn this thing. You could see where they moved the steering column up probably as high as they can get it. Get his hands clear of those knees at, 6'4". It's a struggle to fit in this thing. And Michael, nobody knows it better than you do. So
Jeez.
I can't imagine all the anticipation, all the work that God gave.
Guess I'm too tall for a race car.
Oh, he's doing just fine behind the wheel.
Few Rams are starting to roll up the top into the top 20. Celsius on board here with Justin Haley. He's 19. Daniel Dye ahead of him in 17.
Justin Haley, one of 2 previous winners on road courses in the field. Ben Rhodes, the other one.
And you know that truck over there with a 13 on it is the truck that Ben Rhodes won Daytona in? How about that? It was a backup truck. They carried it around. And then now the 13 is the truck that actually won Daytona.
And unfortunately, they had to use that back.
Yeah, they didn't want
because of
to.
yesterday, right? Cole Butcher right there in the mix. So Lane Briggs, we showed just how good he is and how well once he threw on his teammate Townsend, we saw the potential of that truck.
Chandler Smith knows how to cross up lane rigs in turn 1. So if Freaks goes deep on the brakes, it could get exciting.
Here we go. Green flag is in the air. The final stage of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series with St. Pete.
Great break there by Lane Riggs. He's going to clear his key.
Jeski, guys. He has entered the party. Lane Riggs way out front. Can Macheski pick up that second spot over Chandler Smith? And he did.
Oh, look how tight it is back there.
Wow.
Ben
A
Rhodes.
lot of contact.
And here comes Tyler Ankrum. He's been fast all day. Look at that blue truck.
Oh, man.
There. Tyler Ankrum got into the 45 of Landon Lewis.
And for Ankrum, the right front is totally chewed up. That's going to really hurt him on this 40-lap stint to finish.
I don't know if he's going to make it to the finish.
Wow, that was just a judgment that went wrong.
Big time damage. That's right in front of Dario Franchitti. Franchitti trying to work his way around Tyler Ankrum.
Frankini's got to be patient here. This is where the spotters really help you out with information. They'll be telling them, hey, the truck in front of you is really torn up.
And there
Take your time, be smart. And Franchitti gets by with these. All kinds of fuel pouring out of the back of that thing. Michael, is that normal?
No, not.
They're not done. Bumping and banging with the wheel hog.
Oh, there's fuel pouring out of Frankitti's truck. I wonder if that spring retention cover got held up there.
It should clear. It should stop doing that, though. When we burn a little fuel off. Good braking there, Bob. Mario, he's doing really well.
Airport runway into turn one. There's an Ida Grand end finger.
25 of Colin Brown. He's coming.
Tyler Ankrum just continues to lose more spots. He was on the move, Michael, and then that heavy damage.
Yeah, that was aggressive move. I saw how fast his truck was, and he right there.
So watch Ankrum, boy, he
didn't know that Landon was going to be off the gas so soon, and he just misjudged it.
And it's got to be awfully hard for Tyler Ankrum to see the apexes in these right-handers, because with the hood blown up like that, it's above the height of the concrete wall. And so Ankrum doesn't know exactly where to place his right front. He's got to be so careful not to clip the concrete now. Tough situation to hang on.
They're all backed up behind Tyler Ankrum.
Dan Mayer in that Ford truck. He's doing a nice job racing a kid.
17 years old from Maryland. The car's Pro Late champion from last year.
How about that?
Said if I have a good run here, I might get a couple more races. So such a nice young man. We have stories from front to back in this field.
Good battles from front to back too. You see Perez trying to squeeze under Ankrum, couldn't quite get it done.
See the 25, Colin Brown, right in the hunt. Lane Riggs continues up front, just about a second, a little over a second now ahead of Ty Majeski.
I'd say having 3 of those Ram trucks up in the top 18 is a great run for these guys. Brand new to the series, trying to get everything worked out. See Colin Brown here. He leads the charge in 13, getting ready to be 12.
See what Colin Brown does here with Tyler Ankrum. Ankrum will suffer a bit through this cake with that right front damage, but boy, he hustled it through there pretty good. I think Colin Brown's thinking about it. Gonna wait for another chance.
$35 laps to go here from the streets of St. Pete.
Big guy there. That Chris Wright, 81, yes.
Saw the 42 truck right there. Tyler Wright, he was stalled on the track, just on the pace lap.
Yeah.
Right? He had to get a little jump, and now he's making his way through the field up to 14.
It's the dive on the brakes. Right and right, side by side. So tough to stay there, and
Somebody,
right.
who hit the wall back there?
And now he's going to lose more positions.
That Dawson Sutton trying to charge his way up through this mess.
It sure is. I love this 3 wide again. Who's got to give?
Oh, man.
Nobody.
My goodness, the 16 sticks his nose in there. That's Justin Haley.
3 wide at the apex of turn 4. That will never work on an IndyCar weekend. And the truck guys showing off their stuff here.
Now Wright's got his hands full. Justin Haley,
This is the battle for 15.
this is good stuff. In NASCAR,
Oh, we
Townsend,
got a smoker up ahead.
in NASCAR Townsend, sometimes the battle for 20th is more intense than the battle for the lead because everybody just saying, I got to go look at this mess.
Look at Daniel Hemrick in that red and white truck. He had that damage earlier, got into his teammate. They got him taped up. You see on the right side there, he's still digging.
Boy, the 81 is just really struggling. Brake zones, power down, and now Justin Haley in that 16 Celsius truck with an easy run. Although it's like the 81 is just stronger on straight line performance. I thought Haley was going to have an easy pass up the inside. Oh,
Yep, there you go. Oh,
Cole Butcher goes around.
luckily didn't hit anything, but should have.
He was a part of that big mess that we were watching. Hopefully get her fired up and stay green.
Went right through the middle of two trucks there as he lost the back end. That's exactly the same accident that happened with Dario Franchitti earlier, except Franchitti was saved from Hitch.
Let's go on board with Hitch and see his view of what happened to Cole Butcher.
That's Phil Hop more than likely.
It's just like, I've seen this before with Dario. Oh, sure. Yeah.
My friend ran into me. I'm gonna let him go. I don't even know him.
Another look.
Wow.
Big credit to the spotters right there, too. Probably giving Lynch the information, knowing somebody was all out of shape backing it in turn one. Haley really wants to get by.
Justin Haley up to 17. 32 laps to go from St. Pete. Lane Riggs continues to lead over Ty Majeski. First battle all over the place.
yeah, 32 laps left. We'll go through the full field running order. Lane Riggs is out in front. Ty Majeski up to second, 1.8 seconds out of the lead. And that last lap was actually about a tenth faster than Riggs. Chandler Smith is in third after getting passed by the 88 truck. Ben Rhodes still sits fourth after winning stage one. And Landon Lewis rounds out the top five in fifth. Giragiro in sixth. Dario Franchitti up to seventh. Grant Enfinger eighth. Andres Perez ninth. And Caden Honeycutt back up to 10th after spinning. Well, I shouldn't say spinning, but going wide, had to spin back around in stage two and went from about 9th back to 25th. Now he's back to 10th, and 6 positions for him gained since the restart. Ben Mayer, who started in the last row, 35th, is up to 11th. He was second fastest in practice yesterday. Tyler Ankrum sits in 12th. Colin Braun, 13th. 14th, Tyler Wright. Dawson Sutton, 15th. Chris Wright in 16th. Justin Haley, 17th. Daniel Hemrick, 18th. 19th, James Hinchcliffe. And Jake Garcia, 20th. Nathan Nicholson, 21st. Daniel Dye, 22nd. Connor Mosack, 23rd. Brendan Queen, 24th. Minnie Tyrell, 25th. 26th, Jackson Lee. Carter Fadage, 27th. Cole Butcher, 28th. Adam Andretti, 29th. Stuart Friesen is 30th as he rounds out the lead lap vehicles. 31st, a lap down is Christian Eckes. Tanner Gray, 32nd. Also 1 lap down. He has damage from a crash that didn't result in a caution late in stage 1. Derek White, 2 laps down in 33rd. Timmy Hill, 3 laps down in 34th. Brady Moon is still on track. They had to change a battery, so he fell 6 laps down. He's, again, on track 35th. Wesley Slim pulled off the racetrack, had a mechanical issue back in stage 1. So 34 laps down out of the race is Slim in the 62 truck. That's the full field running order. Now down to 30 laps to go this time by. Truck Series debut in St. Petersburg. It's been a wild one, middle of the pack. Front of the field, we've had 5 lead changes, 4 cautions, 11 laps spent under those 4 yellows, and 50 laps complete out of 80 this time by. You're listening live on KRC to our full flag-to-flag coverage of the race. We'll take a quick break. Finish out the chat poll a little earlier on as well. And of 73 votes, 49% of you took somebody other than Franchitti, Ruggiero, or Hinchcliffe to get the win. Definitely looking like that will be the case. And majority of y'all that voted in the chat are going to be correct.
Dons continue their fight for the conference crown against Villanova. It all begins tonight at 8 Eastern on Fox. And we welcome you back to the Truck Series, and around goes Chris Wright. Dons and Sutton, they were digging for a long time, Michael.
Welcome back to St. Pete with that big silence, Ben. This has been some intense racing.
And we still have 30 laps to go in this stage, Michael. I just see Goodyear tires smoking left and right here as the contact has led to tire rub, to tire wear, and it's going to be wild.
Track back there, guys. Tyler Ankrum is still out there with all that right front damage. Tyler Wright right there in the 42 truck, he had some damage. That's the 69 Derek White stopped on track, but we stay green for now.
An intense battle right here.
You're not missing anything up front. Lane Briggs continues to charge 2.5 seconds ahead of Ty Majeski.
Watch this. That's a lot of speed into a corner.
Yes.
That's right. Well, they're about to make that turn, but luckily he found a place to spin pretty easily and no contact to speak of.
Could have been some of that wheel hop that we talk about as the caution is out.
Fifth caution for today.
You got to be proud of your buddy Dario. He's just been right there all day long, right in the mix and steadily in the top 10, running 7th.
I mean, he's made it here to stage 3. He now has a caution to settle back down, think about everything that he's learned through these stints, and talk to his team a little bit, think about technique, maybe make some adjustment. We know he's hot in there. He told us that earlier, and he's squeezing that thing with a vengeance. He needs to get hydrated.
Looks like maybe some Gatorade in that bottle.
Not sure there's been a lot of heavy cardio for Dario Franchitti these last 10 or 12 years. He has a lot of fun. Going all over the world, driving cool vintage cars, doing fun events. But there's nothing like the temperatures in these cockpits. I don't know. You've driven these things for years. It's got to be hot in there.
Some of the hottest I'd ever been was out in California at Sears Point running the road course. Because you work so hard on left and right and braking, there's a lot of physical things that go into the performance of the car. And if you're hot, it just adds to the.
And then you hit a caution and you heat soak, right? You slow down. There's no air flowing through.
See Hinch getting a drink on board with Justin Haley here. You see the lockup into turn 1. Around goes Chris Wright. And we're under caution here for the 5th time.
All right, well, under caution again. 5th caution of the day, our first of stage 3 after about a 12-lap green flag run to start things off there. Lane Riggs, current race leader. Ty Majeski, 2nd. Chandler Smith in 3rd. Ben Rhodes, 4th. Landon Lewis in 5th. Gio Ruggiero sits in 6th. 7th is Dario Franchitti. Grant Enfinger, 8th. Andres Perez, 9th. Caden Honeycutt rounds out the top 10. So our live commentary coverage obviously continues. We have a little less than 30 laps to go. About an hour from now, we're going to be live for the O'Reilly race, which will be at Circuit of the Americas. Cup Series racing tomorrow on the channel will begin at 3 p.m. Eastern. Austin, Texas. We'll be getting ready for that one. I love how these trucks, back markers, absolutely love bringing out cautions. Yeah, welcome to the Truck Series. Derek White was 3 laps down at the time of him stalling out on track. Mechanical failure of some sort. In the garage now. Nice bright sunshiny day. St. Petersburg, Florida. Tampa area. Noon tomorrow will be the NTT IndyCar Series opener for 2026 on the streets of St. Pete. Same layout, of course, that the trucks are racing today. Duramax Grand Prix from COTA will be tomorrow on the channel. At 3 p.m. Eastern, again, we'll go live for that for the NASCAR Cup race. And then an IndyCar NASCAR doubleheader taking place in Phoenix next weekend. First oval race for IndyCar on the year. That will be on your Big Fox at 3 on Saturday. And obviously the O'Reilly race will be later that night, also at Phoenix Raceway. Few trucks pitting from outside the top 10. James Hinchcliffe, one of which that are coming to pit road. Daniel Hemrick as well from about 17th. I believe Hinchcliffe was 14th at the time of his bringing to pit road. Might as well slap some fresh tires on it, see what you can do. Final 27 laps of the race. Best lap of the day was lap 45 for Lane Riggs. Ran a lap time of a 78.149. Now, these trucks are going to restart in the same order that they came into the pits of those that did pit. Obviously, those that stay out will be at the front of the field, as most of the top half of the field had stayed out. I think it's cool to see a doubleheader for IndyCar and NASCAR on an oval next weekend. And IndyCar has not been at Phoenix in a very, very long time. That'll be fun in and of itself. I think they're going to be going green this time by Lane Riggs, our race leader. Ty Majeski is second. Chandler Smith third, and fourth is Ben Rhodes. Landon Lewis rounds out the top 5 in fifth. Thanks to those of you watching throughout the course of today's live commentary stream. Can we back at it again 2 more times this weekend? 3 p.m. starts both today and tomorrow at COTA. Today, O'Reilly Racing Cup Series at 3 as well. That will be tomorrow's race, of course. Four Fords up at the front of the field, by the way. Followed by a Chevy, 2 Toyotas, 2 Chevys, and a Toyota. Rounding out the top 10. Dodge Ram 12th, 13th, then 16th, 17th, and 18th. Field is doubled up. They'll be having to restart this time by. Highlighting a couple of the earlier incidents. Full spins, contact on track. Most of which in the first stage that they're showing on the recap right now with this play system Fox is using. Tanner Gray, pretty hard hit into the wall. We definitely got some trucks out there with significant damage that are still in this race, but as far as those that have DNF'd, just one with a mechanical issue. And that's Wesley Slint. So much racing to go yet. Just over half of the final stage, which is the length of stage 1 and stage 2. Five different leaders, 9 lead changes, 31 trucks on the lead lap, and again, 5 cautions for 14 caution laps. It's our race summary as we are at lap 56 for the restart Again, 25 laps to go upcoming. Alrighty. Lane Riggs, Ty Majeski, green flag back in the air. First time we've gotten to see Majeski on the front row for a restart. He was the only driver who had any kind of pace to keep up with Layden Riggs under green flag action. Now he's right there with him with the reset. Riggs on the inside, Majeski up on the outside. Over-under move by Majeski, swings to the bottom. It's going to be tough to run side by side into the S's coming up here. Riggs cuts him off, a little bit of contact. Majeski slides sideways and loses several truck lengths, and Riggs will hold on to the lead. Ben Rhodes now going to try to get by his teammate, who's got a little bit of left front fender damage after the contact with the 34, but Majeski holds on strong for now. Doesn't appear to be a tire rub on the left front tire at all on that 88 Ford. But the fender's flared out a bit. The good news is also, I don't think that damage is going to hurt him aerodynamically on a tighter street course with slower speeds to that of the Truck Series versus what we'd see on maybe some other road courses and obviously other ovals on the NASCAR circuit. This is a more higher speed street course, though, I will say, than that of Chicago that the Cup and O'Reilly Series has raced on the last few years. Utilizing that speed down the front stretch, trying to pull away, though, is Lane Riggs. Full second ahead of Majeski right now after that contact in turn 2. 24 laps to go. Caden Honeycutt making a pass around Grant Enfinger for 8th. Slowly trying to work his way up through the field. Maybe Lane Riggs might win. He's been the guy to beat since taking the lead late in stage 2. Girogiro in the 17 is around. A spin, and he has some damage on the left side of his race truck from the tire pack that he ended up sliding into. We've seen 3 spins in that area of the racetrack. And now James Hinchcliffe is around somewhere else on course with a spin of his own. And we'll see if he gets refired. If not, this is going to lead us to another caution late. And it looks like we're going to be under yellow.
Ford with Hinch.
I tried to shove it in there in turn 5 and just lost the back end.
It's like I've been watching these guys do this all day. I'm gonna try this.
Yeah.
See right there, red and white truck for Caden Honeycutt. Guys, he is on the move. He ran 10 for about 15 laps, and now he's up to 7th, trying to pick off Dario Franchitti for another spot, and he does it into 6th. Franchitti got to 7th.
Grant Keating getting another challenge there. Grant Enfinger wants some of that Dollar Tree truck.
Wonder how Dario's feeling in the cockpit. You know, we've been at this now for almost 2 hours as the caution comes out for an issue right here in turn 9. Gotta think it's awfully hot for Dario, and it's been so long since he's been in this kind of situation, racing in anger.
See, White has gone around and stopped on the racetrack, so that brought out our 6th caution for today. There's that record. So you just need a push.
Push or a hook. Or a pull.
Lane Riggs has to feel good about what he has. How about the Fords up there? 4 in the top 4 positions. Landon Lewis in a Chevrolet. Caden Honeycutt, Dario Franchitti in the Toyotas.
What about the Rams? We've got 4 of them.
They're moving forward, Michael. They're going the right direction.
4 of them in the top 20.
talked about the 76 of Nathan Nicholson having a good run. Until this. Oh.
That was a big hit.
Oh, and that's Minnie Terrell, that 14. He's into the outside wall.
All right, under caution. Second time now in stage 2, kind of back-to-back yellows, if you will. Went 3 laps into this green flag run before this yellow flag came out. Sixth caution of the day. Majeski holds on to the lead. Some of the lead changes that we have seen today have been on the restarts, with the double wide restarts, obviously, and one truck over the other getting to the start-finish line. Because that's the only reason Ty Majeski's led 2 laps. Lane Riggs has led for 19-23 for Ben Rhodes, who won stage 1. Riggs won stage 2. Chandler Smith led for 7 laps in stage 2. Connor Mosak started on pole, led the first 7. That's it. Those are the only 5 drivers to lead at least 1 lap in the race today. And speaking of Mosak, we haven't talked about him much since going a lap down, but he is up to 15th. And if we keep getting cautions and bunching the field up, he picks up a few spots at a time. That's probably his best chance of having any kind of a shot to get back up to the front. It's still going to be tough. I think maybe he can flirt with a top 5 if things like this keep happening over and over again, but I don't know that he's going to be able to get all the way back up to the front. I don't know that he has the pace that Riggs and Majeski have either. And now with that left front fender damage, granted we only went about 2.5 laps into that green flag run, but Majeski quickly faded to that of Lane Riggs. And I wonder, with another restart upcoming, with how aggressive Riggs was, if Majeski tries to be just as aggressive, if not more.
On the streets of St. Pete, first ever street course for them, making some history today. And it's been exciting. We're happy to have you join us on this Saturday afternoon. I'm Jamie Little, joined by Townsend Bell and Michael Waltrip. Townsend, what do you think so far? Your first official NASCAR race in the booth?
I think it's been so exciting. I love watching the technique of all these drivers, especially in the truck series. You have so much roll and pitch and yaw of the trucks. You can really see them moving around and appreciate the artistry of the drivers.
You also can appreciate how they're not shy to run into one another when necessary. Seems to be a lot of that going on, too.
It's got a whole lot more steel to work with than carbon fiber of an IndyCar.
Well, we've been talking about Dario quite a bit and his great run today. Let's hear from his crew chief, Amanda.
Yeah, his crew chief wanted to be named as the chief annoyance officer here today, but you told me originally you wanted to be called Dario's #1 fan. How proud are you of him today?
Very proud. And I do have both those titles today. It's been a lot of fun. It's just great watching him get a feel for the truck and get a rhythm. But now we're at the point of the race where pushing and shoving is going to happen, and he's not used to having fenders. So I think he'll behave and be very respectful. I just, hope that is reciprocal.
I've been watching you during these pit stops. You've been up and down off the pit box, throwing ice to Dario. You were holding the fuel can. What's your level of anxiety, Jimmy?
Anxiety is low, but excitement is high. He's been sitting on the couch so much that he finds the truck to be too hot, so I had to get him some ice, some Gatorade, and a few other elements, just knowing how the pit stop functions work, trying to help be there for the guys getting the truck ready.
You ready for this in San Diego?
Yes, truck racing is so fun. I've had the greatest time here, and I've only done one truck race in my career. So to go back in San Diego, racing my home turf, it's going to be a great weekend. And this is my first real experience with Tricon, and hats off to Kevin Ray and everybody here at Tricon. They've got an incredible program. Toyota support. This thing's rocking and rolling. I'm glad to be here.
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's a great point. Jimmy Johnson going to be on board the one truck in San Diego at his home track. That'll be the second street course race. That's Father's Day weekend in June, so you'll have to tune in. Can't wait for that.
Yeah, we got an IndyCar race somewhere, I know, that weekend. But what a year it is for motorsports to be in San Diego, 250th celebration of our country, and we'll be IndyCar racing in Washington, D.C. around the National Mall on Fox in late August as well. So just a wonderful year for American racing in this event in San Diego. I would expect an awesome display from our armed forces on that weekend. The truck drivers are going to have a blast.
Well, we're seeing what they're capable of, right, Michael?
Yeah, they can adapt to anything. Just do some amazing driving, the curb hopping, and like I said earlier, how good you have to be stuck behind a truck, not be able to see where you're going with all the different apexes and angles you've got to take, and be able to pull off passes like that.
And now the truck regulars have 60 laps of race experience. Got 5 laps of practice experience from yesterday. So that advantage for guys like Dario Franchitti has largely faded a bit as guys like Riggs and Majeski, Rhodes, Chandler Smith, they've got this place pretty dialed. They know kind of inch perfect now where to place their truck, how things are going to run around here, and they're all geared up, tightening their belts for a 20-lap dash here. It's going to be fun.
Just saw Connor Mozak. I mean, look at the damage on so many of these trucks. Connor Mozak was lights out earlier on. He led from the pole for a handful of laps, had that damage. He's back buried in the field.
You pointed at the timing screen during the break, Michael, at this guy, Jackson Lee, in the number 22 Ford racing truck, started dead last. He couldn't even turn the steering wheel yesterday. Oh boy, the steering wheel is crazy loose. Did you see that? Look at this thing.
Oh, it's wobbly.
Oh, wobbly. That's a lot to deal with.
That's not normal, is it?
No, not at all.
So he's in 18th right now. That's certainly something we're going to stay on top of.
Just taking a look right here at this little hub mount and the steering wheel. I don't know if it's loose on the hub or the hub's just not tight to the steering shaft. Something like, let's just.
But you're right, Townsend. Just being 6'4" or 5" in one of these trucks. I raced a truck at Daytona, and I had to drive with my left leg folded under my right leg. There wasn't room for me to use my left leg on the brake because my legs were too long. And so I drove one-footed with one leg crossed. And this is a road course. You can't do that here, obviously, but that's the situation that he's facing.
Probably hardest thing for you was getting into the pit box.
Yes, it was a difficult
Turn it
task.
back right.
But this is a whole different.
You see, Riggs clean it up here. I mean, that was cool.
You like those tires that clean, or do you want them? I mean, that's a little bit hot, probably.
But you talk about car control, and he knows he's got to get debris off his tires. We heard Ben Rhodes talk about that a little bit earlier. It took, I think they said 6 or 8 corners to get the debris off, and Lane Riggs doing it on the throttle and laying down the stripes before the green.
I think they're hot. I think
love
he's
it.
ready for this restart. Lane Riggs has like 21 laps.
All right, 19 laps to go. Green flag back in the air. Riggs and Majeski front row. Huge side drafting going on right now between the two. Back and forth, up and down this front stretch, wall to wall. Majeski on the outside, Riggs on the inside. Slip up off the curb by Lane Riggs, and he's going to lose the lead. And Ty Majeski's out in front for the first time today. Winless a season ago, despite making the championship 4 and finishing runner-up in the season standings, was Majeski. Switches to the 88 truck and team at ThorSport Racing after the retirement of full-time competitor Matt Crafton. And now Majeski trying to get the bright Menards 88 back to victory lane again and get the first win for ThorSport since 2024. Ben Rhodes in third, a great start to the season. Looking for another great finish. He already won a stage today, but it's Majeski who's got the pace at ThorSport to try to get the race win done under the current circumstance we're in, which is green flag with just 19 laps to go. Slide the intervals back over on the left side of the screen so you can see the deficit between positions and obviously off of our leader. Riggs has outpaced Majeski, but now Majeski going to go wide as he overcooks it in the final corner. That U-turn out around on that right-hander leading to the main front straightaway. Ty Majeski just overcooks it, trying to keep away from Lane Riggs. He slid so far out, he actually got to the tire pack to the left side of his race truck. Didn't hit it very hard. There's some grass out there that he was sliding sideways. He gets back on course, but now back in 6th place and out of the lead. No official lead change that time because he did not lead that lap at the start-finish. Wow, way wide. And once he started going wide, he couldn't get it corrected. Not without getting out into the grass off the asphalt. So we're back to Lane Riggs in the lead, and if ThorSport Racing is going to end their winless streak, it's going to have to be at the hands of Ben Rhodes, who's in second. Unless Majeski can make a comeback. Sliding in the grass like that, it had to have hurt his tires. Going to take him a couple laps just to get cleaned off a bit. Caden Honeycutt up to 4th place quietly, as far back as 25th in the running order. As he bypassed Majeski, got a couple more spots in the restart as well, as he was in 6th. Only Chandler Smith, Ben Rhodes, and Lane Riggs in front of Honeycutt to keep him from getting his first career win. Mystical Bandit, thanks for tuning in, as well as many others. If I haven't shouted you out throughout the course of today's live commentary stream, greatly appreciate you all watching. 60 likes on the stream thus far. We have hit our goal of 50. But be sure to hit that like button in case we have a shot to get to 100 here. O'Reilly Racing at 3 p.m. Eastern at Coda coming up in about a half hour from now. 17 laps to go in this truck race first. Only 16 laps to go, this time by at the line for Riggs, who's just about a half a second ahead of Rhodes. The 2 stage winners are running 1-2, and Rhodes is keeping a lot of pressure right now on Riggs. He is not letting him get away. And if they get to battling, that very much could bring Chandler Smith and Caden Honeycutt back into the picture.
Lewis, he's got it. Got that truck working. Just overcooked one corner and it cost him.
These motorsports, they're fielding trucks for so many youngsters this year, Michael, and one of them is that man Landon Lewis in the 45 doing an incredible job.
And that.
Ty Majeski just getting by there in turn 1, puts him up to 5th position right now. As we understand that Dario Franchitti, unfortunately, is on pit road. We don't know why, but this would be an unscheduled stop with 16 to go.
Ty Majeski was so impressive. Oh, you see Dario there.
Overshot the pit. They rolled it back.
But did they come in just because they decided to take tires? The 91 just got turned around. Christian Exes.
It's Christian Eckert. That's the second incident that we've seen today. Comes out right in front of Frankie Muniz. I'll take another look at that.
Saw Jimmy Johnson throwing a squeegee, I think, to one of the crew members to try to clean up the windshield there. Let's take a look back at turn 4.
Oh, Eckett's gave room.
Tyler Wright got into him, and around jump goes Jake Garcia. He's able to clear them.
Wright missed the apex of that corner, and I think that Christian gave him room, but Wright made contact with him.
Now we're into a kind of an unknown territory in this stage. 15 to go, but they've done almost 25 laps, Michael. At no point during this race weekend, this very first event at St. Pete, do any of these trucks or drivers have experience on this many laps on the tires. So it's a real unknown. What's your balance going to do? How are these things going to hang on? How much fall off do you get in these final 15 laps? There's still a huge demand on the Goodyears to get to the finish.
Yeah, these guys that are running up front, though, they have the experience of what these trucks do to tires and how they fall. Not specifically ever on a street, of course, but they got a feel for it. And that, you know how good they are, Townsend. They have an ability just to manage things as they fall off.
And the key is not reacting to, but anticipating. And the only way you can anticipate is if you have experience, if you've been there before and sort of inherently know what to expect out of the tires so that you can make the adjustments to your technique before it becomes a problem.
So far, Lane Wright's doing everything that he needs to do. He's had some good runs on road courses in the past, Michael and Townsend, but 10th is the best finish he's ever had. So certainly doing an incredible job today. And what a moment it would be if he could hang on and get his first career road course win on a street course coming away for the first time.
Still hammering those curves is the 34. There's a lot of aggression, but he's made it work.
So Lane Riggs over Ben Rhodes, Chandler Smith, Kate Honeycutt up to fourth, Ty Majeski, your top five. Well, Georgia's down on pit lane. I know there's a lot of interested IndyCar drivers roaming around. Who you have, Georgia?
There sure is. I've migrated from pit lane. I'm now back in the IndyCar paddock. As you know, this is the first of its kind, an IndyCar, NASCAR, doubleheader weekend, and we get to do it again next weekend, which is so exciting. Santino Baricci, he's got 7 NASCAR starts, which I just learned, and that's very exciting. Yourself, you have been watching this race. What have you thought about it so far?
I have. I mean, I forget how loud these things are, man. It's nice to hear a V8 going around. Yeah, definitely been rooting on Dario. He's having a great race so far. Looks like he might have just pitted. So, you know, you see some. Since there's no qualifying, it was quite interesting to see the grid start the way it has. Got to see Rick drive to the front. You know, Colin Braun's now up there. So it's quite a couple of people that I've gotten to meet, you know, as well. Daniel Dye moving up the field. It's quite an interesting race. Honestly, it's been a lot cleaner than I thought. But then again, once I saw Dario Hinch get into it, I wasn't surprised. I mean, a little bit of rear locking and some rear hop. I mean, I caught that when I raced in Xfinity. So, but it's been pretty funny.
No qualifying for the trucks, but you have to qualify later today. So we'll let you go. Get ready for that. Thanks, Santino.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Georgia. It was so much fun having Santino in what is now the O'Reilly Auto Parts series. He's such a big personality. He ruffled some feathers, but had fun doing it. And it's a shame we couldn't see him in more races, but glad to see we'll see him out on track later today and tomorrow for AJ Ford Racing.
That's a fun driver to watch, especially on short ovals in the IndyCar Championship. He's creative. He tries moves in places that others won't or don't. And he's been a real joy to watch him develop in the series. I've been watching Ty Majeski here these last few laps. He's really starting to slide around in that fifth place truck. I'm afraid he might burn these tires up a little too much in the closing phases.
Well, he's going for it. That last time by, he was the second fastest truck on the track, just off of our leader. So he's definitely got some pace, but will it hold on?
Well, we talked about Jackson Lee, guys, and what he has going. And look at those knees cramped up with the loose steering wheel.
Yeah,
It's not bad here.
well, it's loaded right there, but boy, you watch him change direction. That thing looks like it's, I don't know what's going on. Terrifying.
Well, it's falling back, and I think that could
Good
be part
reason.
of it. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, sir. Got to be
I'm
careful.
glad he is.
There goes our leader, Lane Riggs.
Around Jackson Lee, they're hopeful if today went okay that he'd be back in a truck at some point this season. And I hope for him, we do see that. Talented young man. Got his hands full of it for sure.
Spends a good part of his year racing in the Lamborghini Super Trofeo series. Those are high horsepower cars as well, but a lot lighter than a Craftsman truck here.
12 laps to go. As of right now, the lead is 2.5 seconds for Lane Riggs over Ben Rhodes. 4 seconds to Chandler Smith in third. Ty Majeski 5.3 seconds off the lead. Back up to fourth after going wide while leading for a short bit on the restart. Caden Honeycutt 6.2 seconds off the lead, rounding out the top 5 in fifth. And then you got Landon Lewis 8.4 seconds back at sixth. Andres Perez, 12.7 seconds off the lead in 7th. 13.5 back is Grant Enfinger in 8th. Colin Braun, 14.6 back in 9th. Daniel Hemrick is 16 seconds out of the lead in 10th. So that's your top 10. 11 laps to go in the Truck Series race here at St. Petersburg. It's going to lead like almost right up to the start of the O'Reilly race at COTA. I don't like that I don't get like at least 10 to 15 minutes between these streams back to back to back like this. Outside of going to the bathroom like middle of stage 2, I have not left this seat in almost 5 hours. Gonna have to hunker down for a couple more. We stay green the rest of the way here. I might have a good 5 minutes in between streams. That would be about it. 5 to 10. I don't know if that's enough time for me to get a quick snack, but we'll see. 10 laps to go for Riggs. Looking at the lap times, that last lap, Ben Rhodes in second was about a 10th quicker. Ty Majeski still trying to get through the field. Oh, a lot of contact between Majeski and Chandler Smith. Chandler did a great job keeping it off the walls. Majeski slams his way into third. Did a great job getting a few of those spots back. That last lap, Majeski was the quickest on track, 79.1 to Riggs' 79.6, so he was a half a second faster. Problem is that he's about 5.2 seconds out of the lead. This time by at the timing line, it's not going to be quite as quick of a lap because he had to make that pass on Smith and there was a little bit of contact. Hope that he can get his lap time back. I think he runs down Ben Rhodes if it stays green to the end. If it stays green, I don't think he has another shot at Lane Riggs. But he did get to the lead on the last restart. Just kind of threw it away. That finishing corner. 9 laps to go. This time by. Colin Braun up another spot to 8th. Got by Daniel Hemrick recently as well. There's another change of position inside the top 10. Trying to look for any more battles. James Hinchcliffe up to 11th place. And he has had so much on-track activity where there has been contact with other vehicles. He was actually the cause of the last caution. He had spun and stalled out. I think fresh tires are allowing him to get his way back through the field a lot quicker. Some other cars with damage in the back half of the field. It's been almost like a short track race. You've been anywhere outside the top 10 pretty much all day. And even up at the front, the likes of like Ty Majeski's got a little bit of damage. Lane Riggs' back bumper, he got hit from behind. Once, obviously nothing that's destroying the handling of this car in any way. He's still putting time on Ben Rhodes. Pretty even for the most part that last lap between Majeski and Riggs. Majeski's been pushing very hard for quite some time too, and you just wonder, you know, is he going to use up his tires so early into the run that he's not even going to have a shot? Try to get after the race leader. Eating on air can be problematic. Yeah, I'm gonna have to grab something during the O'Reilly race. Usually when we do these multiple streams in a day, I got a good half hour to an hour between streams, but not today. It just worked out that you have 2 different racetracks and you're kind of bouncing back and forth between the two. There could be that slight overlap in the TV scheduling where qualifying gets done like practically right at noon. We're live 3 minutes later. And probably going to be something similar to that here shortly. With that O'Reilly race upcoming following the finish of this truck event. I'll go through the finishing order as soon as the checkered flag flies. And then we'll get an interview with our race winner, Lane Riggs, and then we'll have to hop up and head to the next stream. And that'll be a fun one to watch between Connor Zilich and Shane Van Gisbergen, and they put up one heck of a fight in their last toe-to-toe battle in the Xfinity Series, which was all the way back in Sonoma last summer. Excited to see where that goes here today. Five laps to go. Ben Rhodes is creeping in all of a sudden. I don't know what happened to Lane Riggs that last lap, but he ran an 81.362. So he made a big mistake because Ben Rhodes, who was about 3 to 3.5 seconds off the lead, is now about 1.1 back. Was Rhodes saving his stuff for later? Or has Lane Riggs pushed too hard too early? I mean, it's amazing how quick that became maybe a little bit more of a battle than what it would have been otherwise. It is all Front Row Motorsport versus Thor Sport right now. Two cars each inside the top four. Got Giro in the 17 holding up Riggs. The middle section of the racetrack where everything's tight and he just can't get by the lapper. That's impeding his lap time a ton as well. And Ben Rhodes is only about maybe 5 or 6 truck lengths now behind Riggs. And Ruggiero trying to stay in the lead lap in case we catch a late caution, but he is not letting this 34 get by him. Ruggiero had a spin earlier in the stage after running top 10 all day long. He was 5th and 6th at the end of stage 1 and stage 2. This will be his first, not only not top 5, but not top 10 of the season as well. Out of the finishing corner, Riggs will be on the inside. 17 is not giving it to him yet. Into the braking zone, the 34 going to go much deeper. He'll make the pass. Ben Rhodes about 0.8 of a second back. But now is Ruggiero going to be in the way of the 99 and 88 trucks who are fastly approaching our leader with just 5 laps to go? Very well could be the case. Rhodes up on the inside of Ruggiero. Ruggiero going to go wide. Out of the way of the leaders. Definitely seemed like he held up Riggs more than he held up Rhodes and Majeski, but he did hold up the 99 a bit because the lead's back out to about 1.3. Majeski, who was about 5 seconds off the lead 5 laps ago, is now only 2 seconds back. Majeski just slapped the wall. The left side of his race truck pushing a bit wide. Rhodes got very close to it. Majeski actually did touch it. Pushing hard and at times maybe a little bit too hard. Closing corners of the racetrack, just 4 laps to go this time by. .3 is the difference between first and second, and 2.1 seconds back to third. Riggs was the fastest car on track that last lap, but he didn't have the lap traffic that the 2 trucks, I should say specifically, trying to run him down behind. Was able to get out ahead a little bit further. Ben Rhodes' fastest lap of the race was lap 63, shortly after this restart. A lot more lap traffic for Lane Riggs, and he had a little bit of contact with Stuart Friesen trying to get by him, and he went wide because of it, and now Ben Rhodes is there. What a mistake by Riggs, as he just kind of chopped off the nose of Friesen a little bit too soon after passing him. Got very loose. Kept this truck off the wall, but now goes from a 1-second lead to Ben Rhodes is all over his back bumper. And now Rhodes is going to swing out of line. He's going to try to make a pass. Is he going to get to the back bumper of Riggs? No, he does not. And Riggs accelerates and pulls away just a bit. 2 turns to go, and then we're down to 3 laps left. Big braking zone for both the 34 and 99. Neither one of them hit their marks. The 88 and Majeski probably got through that corner the best. And he's only about 1.3 seconds off the lead now. 3 trucks, 3 laps to decide the winner. Riggs, Rhodes, Majeski, and there's more lap traffic to come. And on a street course, it's very difficult for these trucks to get out of the way of the leaders, as we've seen over the last couple laps. Mini Tyrell, the next truck that is going to go a lap down, Some left front damage to his Dodge Ram. They just keep catching him in the most awkward part of the racetrack every time, too. Over these last couple laps in lap traffic. Let's come down to it, and Lane Riggs has to be saying, Tyrell's got to get out of my way. He's trying to now. Riggs will get by. Ben Rhodes is going to catch him in a bad spot in the kink. Riggs got another truck length to a truck length and a half advantage over Rhodes. It's more breathing room than he's had over the last lap and a half or so. The heat is on. Rhodes very deep into the final corner, locks the front tires up, slid his way through the turn, and it's going to be back to Lane Riggs with 2 laps to go. That Sonoma-like hairpin, that finishing corner before that drag strip back to the front stretch, could be the deciding factor of this race on the final lap, and I'm sure if Rhodes has a shot to get to the back bumper, he's going to go for it. Rhodes hasn't won in a season and a half. Ty Majeski hasn't won in just over a season. They're hungry. Lane Riggs had 3 wins last year. His teammate has one already this year of Chandler Smith. Riggs saying, I hope it's my turn. He's in a deep points deficit to start the season after 2 finishes outside the top 10 in the first 2 races. A race win could help that quite a bit, knowing the points difference just between first and second alone and the race finishing results. So although it's only the 3rd race of the year, this is massive for Riggs to try to hold on. And for Rhodes already having a good season, can take the points lead with a race win today. Ty Majeski back in it. He was very fast in the first 2 races of the year. Very fast here today. He's looking for second underneath his teammate Ben Rhodes. If they run side by side for too long, it could allow Lane Riggs to pull ahead just enough. 1 lap to go. Drag race on the front stretch for second. Majeski will have the inside into turn 1. Ben Rhodes will have the outside. Majeski might have the best opportunity to try to get after Lane Riggs now. Rhodes trying to push it forward. Coming out of that corner. A little teamwork. And the twists and turns of the S's as Majeski tries to bear down on the leader. Riggs has been pressured in this position before. So this is nothing new as he tries to go for another win. He's still got about 5 to 6 truck lengths over Majeski. Majeski has gapped Ben Rhodes by about 3 truck lengths himself. Maybe even more. Rhodes is slipping out of a shot to win unless these top 2 make contact. We're coming down to the final 3 corners, and Majeski's about 3 truck lengths back. He did a great job through the middle section of the track to try to get some lap time on the 34. And they're going to be coming up on this horseshoe-like corner. Majeski sails it off in there, overdrives it too deep. It was a last-ditch effort. Couldn't get the job done. And Lane Riggs will hold on and win the first ever Craftsman Truck Series race in St. Petersburg. 0.8 of a second margin of victory for Lane Riggs. First win of the early 2026 season. Second for Front Row Motorsports. And Ford sweeping the top 4 positions in the finishing order of today's race. Congratulations to Lane Riggs for getting the win. 2 hours, 12 minutes, 26 seconds total time on our 80-lap race. 9 lead changes, 6 cautions, 17 laps under yellow. We'll go through the full field finishing results, and then you'll hear from our race winner, Riggs. Riggs with the win. Ty Majeski in second. Ben Rhodes in third. Chandler Smith fourth. Caden Honeycutt finishes in fifth. Landon Lewis in sixth. Andres Perez seventh. Daniel Hemrick in eighth. Colin Braun ninth. James Hinchcliffe picked up 15 spots on that last restart to get a top 10 finish. Ben Mayer, after starting in the last row, finishes 11th. Justin Haley 12th, right where he started. After an eventful day, he was a lap down at one point. Same for Mosak, after starting on pole, was a lap down for a brief moment. got back in the lead lap at the start of stage 3. He finishes 13th. Cole Butcher 14th. Christian Eckes 15th. Tyler Wright 16th. Daniel Dye 17th. Jake Garcia 18th. 19th was Chris Wright. And Tanner Gray 20th. 21st, Carter Fadich. Grant Enfinger 22nd. Brendan Queen 23rd. Adam Andretti 24th. Gio Ruggiero first truck a lap down in 25th. 26th, Stuart Friesen. Dario Franchitti 27th. Minnie Tyrell 28th. Jackson Lee 29th. Frankie Muniz in 30th. Tyler Ankrum 10 laps down. 31st, had damage on the last restart. Timmy Hill 32nd. Dawson Sutton 33rd. Nathan Nicholson 34th. Derek White 35th. And Wesley Slimp 36th. That rounds out our full field finishing order. O'Reilly race will be coming up in a few minutes. Lane Riggs finishing up his burnout on the front stretch in St. Petersburg. We're going to get an interview here shortly, I'm sure. And if they wait to get back to Victory Lane for an interview, I don't know if we're going to be able to wait quite that long. Because we've got an O'Reilly race starting here in a couple of minutes. So don't want to linger too long, but want to get an interview with our race winner if possible. Burnouts of a plethora for Lane Riggs. He knows how to celebrate his wins. Dislocated his shoulder doing so before. And he's going for another lap around the racetrack in victory celebration. He's excited about this win. Street course race win. I think he had some fun today. Passed a lot of trucks, probably more than any other. Started 28th. Yeah, I mean, he's doing a ton of burnouts. He's on the backside of the racetrack now. I think I'm going to have to get out of here. Again, we got another stream to get through here shortly. O'Reilly Series race at COTA. I hope to see you for that very soon. Thanks for watching, everybody. Congrats to Lane Riggs. I don't think he's going to quit celebrating at this point. Well, we got to go off the air. We got another race to cover. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you soon.